We're live. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Whether you're watching this back or watching this live, appreciate you very much for being here. Of course, talking GameStop. There's so much going on with it right now, so just make that the main area of focus, right? And most of what I've talked about on this channel for a long time has been GameStop because honestly, I feel like, and we're seeing it right now more than ever, probably most we've seen it since January 2021, where the stock is just not accurately being reported on by the mainstream media. But can you really be surprised by that in the day and age we live in? I don't think so. This is the daily chart right now. Start off by saying, I'm not a big TA guy, but just looking at this very generally, right? Looks like we're kind of holding this uptrend. Obviously, tomorrow will be pretty impactful in terms of if that continues. This is a weekly chart right here, or weekly candlesticks rather. And then right here, we got some dailies. So leave that on the screen for a moment while I hit the chat here. Again, thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it. Keenan, what up? Really curious about what happens between now and June 18th. Dean, what up? What up? Thanks for being here. Yeah, me too. I think everyone is, especially, with probably, I would say, even the 21st, because that's the date that DFE's calls do expire. And there's a lot of time between now and then, but at the same time, there's really not. There's only 9 trading days because now that today has come to a close, you have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week, and then you have full next week. So that's 9 full trading days, and we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was dabbling, like looking at the calls today, and I'm like, it's tempting, right? Like this huge dip here. But at the same time, I look at the IVs and the premiums, like, this is crazy. And short dated calls will just stress me out a lot, honestly. So I sold a put, $15 put for July when IV was high, and I think it was right in here somewhere. So right now it's about even. It might be down a little technically, or I guess the put price is up, so I'm down because I'm the seller of it. But all I had to put up was 1,500 to collateral, and then I got $100 in premium. So I thought that was a pretty good return. I don't really see GME lower than $15 at that point. But if so, so be it. I'll acquire 100 shares for a $15 price point. And then at that point, I really have to determine, do I want to keep them or do I want to turn around and sell a call? And you might be thinking, oh my God, why would you sell a call? For that particular position, I've decided that might be something I kind of do the wheel route, which is basically like theta gang, as they call it, where you're essentially selling puts on the when the price is lower, and then you turn around and you sell calls when you get exercise. And then if the call gets exercised again, or the option gets exercised again, rather than you turn around and you sell a put, and you just keep doing that back and forth and just collect premium, 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 month by month, right? So I might do that just with that particular set of cash or shares. Obviously depending if it gets exercised. I'm fully understanding that if I do that, it might be a situation where, given the nature of the stock, right? Anyone that sold calls, covered calls right here, thought, oh, I'm going to sell a weekly covered call. Like it's already gone up so much, right? I can collect a bunch of premium, and then they made a huge move like this, right? And also just given the nature of GameStop and what I think personally is that we hit a certain point where there's no return and things just get wild and it's like, oh my gosh. So we'll see, right? But again, that's just one small set little part of what I'm doing as a whole. So everyone's got to have their own strategy, their own plan. And for me, I have plenty of shares that I'm absolutely not going to sell covered calls on ever, ever. So forever, ever, forever, ever. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it so much. I wish there was more public info on the direction and GameStop revamping stuff. Keenan, I think that's absolutely a fair point because, given, like I've been thinking about this a lot, right? Because we had the share announcement, right, come out that they're issuing 75 more million, and I really have to organize this page. It's getting a little bit all over the place, right? We got the official first round of the share offering. It was 75 million shares sold. Sorry, 45 million shares sold at an average price of 20.74, and they raised approximately 933 million before fees. After fees, that's probably gonna be like 915 million, putting them about 2 billion in cash equivalents, marketable securities. And they completed that within 1 week, as you see on the chart right here. And also at that time, they had released preliminary earnings. This time, right, when the next share offering is announced, it's June 7th. They disclosed the actual Q1 earnings. They went from saying like SG&A is between 290 million to 300 million to being exactly 295.1 million, right? So at that point, they had it all finalized, and I'm pretty sure they had to do that before they could actually go ahead and then do another share offering. And both of them are ATM, at the market equity offering, which basically means they'll sell them into the open market, not privately sold. So this is the new filing, up to 75 million shares. and we may offer and sell shares of our common stock from time to time through Jefferies, acting as our sales agent and referred to as sales agent. We have previously sold an aggregate of 45 million shares on our common stock for the aggregate proceeds of approximately 933.4 million pursuant to the sales agreement and prospectus supplement filed by us May 17, 2024. So we may offer and sell up to additional 75 million shares of our common stock in the day hereof. So in digesting this, my first thoughts are initially, right? Like, okay, are they actually going to complete this share offering right away? Or are they thinking the price is going to go higher? And then at that point, they're going to go ahead and issue more shares. So last time that wasn't the case, right? Because obviously they sold all of the shares within 6 trading days. They filed to sell shares on a Friday morning. And then the following Friday afternoon, they filed that they were complete with the share offering, right? So 6 trading days, they were able to sell 45 million shares at the open market price. And what I was most impressed by, and I feel like it wasn't talked about that much, was you really don't see much movement in the price, right? It seems like the remaining shares were sold off Thursday into Friday. And then when it was announced it was complete, it caused a big jump, just like when it was announcing the offering, we saw a big drop. But having said all that, you would think like if they were selling shares all throughout this week that the price would have been going down more, or we would have been seeing a wider range on the chart. But after that initial offering, like if you zoom in a little bit more here, you could see that it was very limited in terms of its movement, right? Like it floated between, say, a high of like 23.50 and $18. Given the nature of it, you thought it would. I thought it would have moved more, but it didn't. So now the question becomes, with selling these 75 million shares, again, are they going to do it over an elongated period of time? Are they going to do it all at once? It seems like the common thesis amongst individuals is that they are going to go ahead and issue a bunch of shares throughout these next couple weeks, maybe even just 1 week period, because also I'd put out today, and this is also where I'm starting to think this more and more when you look at the trading volume, and definitely lots of different stuff to talk about. So on Friday, they had 277.6 million in volume. Monday, they had today 127.6 million. So that's, see, sometimes it updates after hours, but I guess that's like the dark pool trade, 127.6, right? So now that's slightly incorrect, but you get the point here. There's a lot of volume, but then again, on the contrary, you could say there's been a lot of volume. Like there's also a lot of volume Thursday. There's a lot of volume that Monday prior. So we've had a lot of volume in general, but given how much volume we had this Monday and Friday combined, I feel like they had to have been issuing a fairly large amount of shares during that period of time. That's my feeling. And then, this is when the share offering was announced right here. Drop off, the morning starts running up, halt, 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 starts running down, halt, 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 right? And halts all around during this day, right? We'll get to the halts later. But where I'm going with all this is the more I think about it, I'm trying to just read a lot of different opinions out there and see where people's heads are at. And I feel like the thesis I'm starting to kind of form is, and to answer your question, Keen, I didn't forget about you because I see what you're saying, where it's like you want to know some direction at some point or another. It's like the one side of it is you don't want to telegraph your move to the enemy, which is those continuing to bet against the company. But the other side of it is there have been loyal shareholders for several years now. So is it time to start giving some kind of guidance as to what's happening in moving forwards or some kind of insight on the plan? Because where I feel like this is definitely shifted right now is they didn't have to dilute, right? Like they had after the earnings report, which we've pulled up right here, they had, yes, negative revenue year over year. They cut SG&A, which is, obviously helping the bottom line a little bit because we saw improvement year over year for Q1 in terms of the bottom line. Again, that's pretty crazy to think. I know it's silver lining. It's not overall. I'm not saying, oh, this is all fine and dandy and perfect and everything's great. But the silver lining is that revenue essentially declined like 30%, but net income was still able to improve year over year. So I find that to be the silver lining of it for sure. And then even after losing some cash for this period, they're still at 1.08 billion with essentially no debt on the balance sheet. So they still had a very strong balance sheet. So they didn't necessarily have to dilute. And especially after the first 45 million was sold, they get to a spot where they're at 2 billion in cash equivalents, marketable securities, and $5.70 in cash per share. So with that, and some are saying, it really killed the gamma squeeze that we were seeing going into Friday. And it's interesting, like twice it was on Fridays, right? And no human is above criticism, right? Like that's definitely something I believe. But I'm starting to think more and more there has to be some kind of plan in place, or they're about to make some big moves these next 6 months to 12 months. Because why else would you offer up 45 million shares, complete it very quickly, and then turn around and offer up to 75 million, unless you thought, one, the stock price is going significantly higher and they want to be able to take advantage of that, and then they can issue shares the whole way up. Because remember, they might have sold like 45 million right now at this point in time, and then the next 30 million they might not do till 6 months later, right? Like we truly don't know until the offering has been complete. But again, the other part of it is then like look how the market reacted last time, right? Like we saw a big move, or I guess I should go back up here. We saw, whoop, we're going the wrong direction. So we saw a big move down when they announced the offering, and then a big move up, and that actually started like the next part of the rally. If you think about it, like once the share offering was complete, it was kind of from here. Yes, a little drop off, and then right. So share offering was complete around here because it was complete on the 24th after hours. So then Monday we saw a jump, and then that kind of restarted the uptrend, or like I don't want to say reignited the momentum, but a little bit. And obviously there's other factors in play. But having said all that, I do more and more, as a long-term holder, start to want insight as to what's going to happen with the company and what direction they're going to take things. Because if you're going to sell 45 million shares, complete it very quickly, and then turn around and sell another 75 million, it's okay. Like there has to be something at play here. And I understand where more and more people are coming out saying like, okay, like it's been a few years, now you're diluting a bunch. So what are the next moves? Because if you're diluting with a plan in mind, okay, makes sense. But they didn't necessarily have to dilute. That's my point here. Like they're in a spot where they really didn't have to dilute at this given time, and now they're aggressively diluting. Although there's a lot of different opinions out there, right? So another one I'll show you. Okay, so many different things. So we got like speculation here. Let's see. Okay. So I think it was Paige. Shout out to Paige. I read people's tweets, and if you have something interesting, you might wind up on the stream because I like to just reflect on things and share my opinion on it, and I think that's good for everyone to do. And that's why I think X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and Reddit are great places, right? And obviously people have criticisms of both, whatever the case. But in general, just people talking about things and learning, I think, is just such a great thing from one another, and that's the incredible part of the world we live in. And side note, Apple today, that meeting, you can literally, they used to say, oh yeah, like teachers used to say, oh yeah, you don't have a calculator in your pocket, you won't have a calculator in your pocket walking around. Now you literally do. You can draw it out on the like scratch pad. You put like 7 plus 5 equals, and then it automatically solves it for you. Like AI is crazy, man. It's actually crazy. But anyways, honestly today both Ryan Cohen and DFE, and this was Friday, because it's June 7th, absolve themselves if there is a squeeze. Ryan Cohen increased available shares. If he was trying to orchestrate a squeeze, why would he do that? DFE showed 600,000 people he hasn't bought or sold, so the price action isn't because of him. I think those are definitely very fair points, and that's what some people are speculating on, that the reason that they're actually issuing shares right now is to say, like, listen, we can't impact this anyway, but at the same time, even if they didn't issue shares, how is GameStop the one that's orchestrating a squeeze just by operating as a business? Like, so that's kind of like my counterpoint to it. But at the same time, look at the things we're seeing going on in this world, especially with like Roaring Kitty, like under scrutiny for just transparently posting his positions and posting memes. And now again, remember this was before the stream that he did. They're saying, oh, market manipulation, right? And then he does the stream, oh, he didn't say anything, he barely said anything, he said nothing we don't know. That's what the mainstream media says. And it's like, wait, just a week ago you were saying, oh, the memes are bad, the posing position, he's manipulating the markets. And now he comes out and he just says what he says in a very, very simple form. Oh, he didn't say anything. He didn't say anything new. Oh, it's like he literally can't win in the eyes of the mainstream media. And I mean, I don't think that's a coincidence, right? But that's all I'm saying here. Like, it's craziness. And yeah, I mean, let me know what you guys think. Again, I'm just trying to report on it real time, digest it in real time. I'm not trying to like lean one way or the other, but I'm just kind of calling it how I see it right now. And I'm not going anywhere. I'll tell you that. I love this journey, but there's going to be more ups. There's going to be more downs. I mean, look at this last 1 month period alone. It's pretty wild, but it's the world we live in. It's a wild place. can drop your source to read up. I would say have faith, Keenan. There's plenty of information. Hopefully the offering is completed tomorrow. Fresh maker, yeah. I mean, I feel like given the amount of volume that we saw, that's what I was kind of touching on over here. And no, he reposted his positions today. He has not sold, in case you were wondering. So 277 million in volume, and then 127 million today. So that combined is nearly the amount of shares outstanding right now. So there's just tons of volume. Let's go Tetron. Keenan, yes sir, thanks for being here. Do they have any public statements, commitments on how the proceeds from selling shares will be used? So Keenan, in the filings, it does say that they will have the ability to use it like through their investment policy, but there's like another part of it that basically says, as of this moment in time, we'll start scrolling here. As of this moment in time, can you control F on this? I don't think so because this isn't the actual website. But see, use of proceeds. We intend to use the net proceeds of this offering, if any, for general corporate purposes, which may include acquisitions and investments in a manner consistent with our investment policy. So the investment policy in place basically allows Ryan Cohen and other members of the board to decide to make an investment, right? Theoretically, they could invest in another stock. They could invest in Bitcoin. They could invest in gold. They could, right now, all they've been doing is investing in T-bills, which is pretty much just short-term government bonds that they've been buying. So that's what they're doing in the meantime, and that's what it says kind of elsewhere down here, where at this time, like there is no specific plan to make an acquisition or purchase shares. But remember, when they make the filing, at that moment in time, there's no plan to make an acquisition or like a merger of any kind. You know, I don't think necessarily gonna do a merger. I think they want to still be under the GameStop name. And it's crazy. There's so many different theories out there. I saw the people say, "Oh, they're leveraging it for a private equity buy." I'm like, that's crazy talk. I do not think that is the game plan here at all. But if they do issue all the shares, it'll be at 426 million outstanding. That's compared to 301 previous to the other dilution that just finished up. So significant increase in the shares outstanding. So you'd have to think there's a play here, or some plan or motion in the ocean, right? So there's some plan in place, but only time will tell. That's the truth of it. Only time will tell. And Ryan Cohen really did say, I'm sorry, Roaring Kitty, you have RK and RC. That's always throwing me off right now because for a long time I was talking about RC. Right now, Roaring Kitty's back. He's back. But Roaring Kitty said it best that this is a bet on Ryan effing Cohen. And I understand some people think that's crazy, but given all the circumstances around it, I think that's really what's going on right now. Like if you don't believe in Ryan Cohen to drive the company forward and turn the company around and the board as a whole and just executives as a whole, then you probably shouldn't be in GameStop. I think that's honestly the reality of it. And again, I'm not in the business, to be perfectly clear, of ever telling anybody what to do. I'm just trying to document in real time, share what I'm seeing, get ideas from you guys in the chat, react to it, and then you'll react to me, and then just bounce back and forth, right? And again, that's why Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, all of it's great. It's people bouncing the ideas back and forth. GameStop had an infiltrated board by Boston Consulting Group, so after they cleaned up the board, they went into a tight-lipped, non-telegraphing strategy for competitors since. Yes, D, no, that is absolutely a great point. You're definitely spot on with that. Bear thesis doesn't look like anything to me. D, I think you're right. Volume is not enough to complete offering yet, but it's close in my opinion. It's certainly possible. Yeah, no guidance either. Project Burpees, thank you for being here. Hope you're doing well. The man, is anyone talking about the GME glitch? The man. You are the man for being here. Thank you so much. And also, we are going to get to that as well. Tetra, can you speak on your take on the latest Joker post series? So, Keenan, I would think, to me, I think he's referencing because the whole thing with the Jokers, he's like, it's not about the money, it's about sending a message. I think that's what it's referencing, but that's all tinfoil, as they call it. Like I would say, it's just speculation. But I think for him, it's obviously it's a lot of money to him, right? And to anyone, that is an immense amount of money. I mean, I guess we don't truly know all of his finances, but based on previous YOLO posts that he used to make, it's a lot of money. So I think it's like saying like it's not about the money, it's about sending a message a little bit. But at the same time, the money is always a factor if we're keeping it real, right? So that's kind of all I have to really say on that. But yeah, I've been trying to see them. What's up, Tetron? I too enjoy this journey. Danzo, yes sir. I'm glad I met you along this journey, man. It's been great. The bear case a few weeks ago was sure they have 1 billion, but what about the revenue? And now they have billions. What's the bear argument now? Project Burpees, exactly. Um, Doesn't look like anything to me. So 5xxx. Nice, nice. I love this journey as much as I love this stock. KK, thanks for being here. And yeah, exactly. That's why I love, like, I would say reporting on it. You know, I'm not certified live reporter here. No, that's not what I'm trying to, like, I'm not certified in any way, you know, but when just your average financial media doesn't want to accurately report on it, a regular person like myself is going to do so because why not, right? And you have other people out there. I'm certainly not the only one doing it, but that's what makes this story so unique. And when you listen to the CNBC clip I posted, I don't know if you guys saw this the other day. And by the way, be perfectly clear, no, Roaring Kitty has not sold his GameStop position. I want to be very clear. So going back here, I'm sure you guys saw this the other day when I posted. Yeah, no, this wasn't the one. This was another one, but this meme is so good. That's my quant. Notice anything different about him? It's Roaring Kitty. Like, he literally trolled them live, right? Like, look at this. He's absolutely just trolling them live. So, and then look how mad this dude is. He's just not a happy camper. And they're just showing the Roaring Kitty stream at the exact same time, which I just think is hilarious. Like, people say, like, oh, like, this is crazy and whatever, but just think about it. Have you ever seen this on CNBC where they're showing a man's live stream on the air and reacting to it in real time? So that's why I think it was so funny what he did, like trolling them with how the stream started. And when you listen to the clip, right, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Did I add it to my highlights? Oh, okay, perfect. I'll do that. And is it just me, or did the host basically imply that it's okay for institutions to drive the market in one direction or another because that's just how it is? But in other segments, they accuse Roaring Kitty of market manipulation for simply talking about stocks he likes. Right? Listen to the clip and think for yourself, because that's basically what the guy said. He's like, we're not used to this. This is so unprecedented. And he's not even moving the stock. Like, as you can tell, nothing happened with this stock on Friday. And other people were pointing out that there was a lot of articles pre-written right and launching like right as the stream ended. Oh, GameStop stock falls after Roaring Kitty stream and doesn't say anything. Like, they just had it all pre-written, right? And if a lot of people are saying it felt like a lot of January 2021 vibes. And you know, in hindsight's always 2020, right? But looking at the after hours, and because the price started already falling down a little bit, right? This was when the Q1 announcement was, and then this is when the share offering was. But even before that, right, it started dropping off and then just gap up from from post-market Thursday to pre-market Friday. But in hindsight, I'm like, I should have thought post-market. I mean, I did think. Listen. I've been in this long enough where I understand that anything is possible in the short term with this stock, right? It's gonna go up, down, left, right, sideways. It's wazi, it's woozy, it's fugazi, fugazi. But I feel like in hindsight, it's like I should have known that this after hours run just seemed like things are a little too good right now. What's going on here, right? And it has been interesting. Other things people are pointing out is that there's no limit up, no limit down in pre-market or post-market. So that's why we've been seeing a lot more dramatic moves. But yeah, again, all just food for thought here, and it's all. I like how Richard Newton puts it. He says it's all just like a big puzzle that he's trying to sort over time, and I think that is how a lot of people feel about it, right? Where it's like you like the stock, you like the company, you like everything that's going on around it, and just the uniqueness of this journey. But it's like the most exciting part of it in a way is like it's like a puzzle to constantly keep solving. So okay, let's see. 40% dilution is big dilution. Randy, you're not wrong, my friend. You're honestly not wrong. I mean, the good part is though, like let's say they raise another 3 billion because keep seeing people saying like, oh, they're gonna have 5 billion outstanding. Whoa, that's a big calculator. So if they have 5 million in cash, whoa, and then you divide that by 451 million shares outstanding, right? Because that's what it says that they'd have after. Wait, we did that backwards anyway. Divided by 5 million. No, that's not right either. Can't do math right now, guys. But basically, right now, where it stands, they have 570 in cash per share. So they would have a lot more cash per share if they do complete the offering soon, and that would kind of create essentially a lower floor. Because when you get to a point where they're just breaking even, yeah, sure, they're not making a net profit right now, or they did make a slight net profit last year, or let's say they are about the same. If they have a ton of cash, well, one, they'll earn a lot more interest income on those marketable securities, and that would probably put them in net profitability, and they can just float along, and then it kind of raises the floor, so to speak, on the stock, because if they're at a point where they have $15 in cash per share, then pretty much doesn't seem very likely at all that the price will go below 15, because then you're essentially paying the price per share. Like if the price went down to 14 and they have $15 in cash per share, you're essentially paying $14 for $15 in cash per share, and that doesn't even take into account the fact that they can, turn things around, ultimately use the investment policy in another way, one way or another. And on the topic of the investment policy, I just put this out there because I'm just curious what people think. I think people are like, no, oh my God, how can you think this, right? Or oh yes, it's totally the best, right? And I appreciate everyone's comments. 'Cause I know like Negative Vanilla, not about it. I think Green Dildo Baggins said, Team Tiny Investment, 100 million, wouldn't mind at all. So yeah, I don't mind people. And we got Walrus Farts on here. Shout out to him. Gaham, yes sir, not at these bloody prices. That's also a fair point. And then SHF, ATM receipt. Shout out to you. Thanks for being here. Or thanks for commenting. It's not going to happen. Code is super conservative in his business plan. Short-term treasuries of Bitcoin doesn't fit. I think that's an excellent point, and that's why I like tweeting random stuff out, because I get different opinions. And seems like actually right now majority don't care / see results. 23% said sad. 39% said happy. So again, that's just speculation. And to clarify, like I like Bitcoin. I hold Bitcoin for the long term. I've been accumulating it for the past several years. But with being a Bitcoin investor, or I would say a Bitcoin hodler, as they say, I don't necessarily agree with GameStop buying Bitcoin, because I understand that not every shareholder's going to be satisfied with that. And it's also like I already have plenty of Bitcoin that I want to hold. Like my investment in GameStop doesn't necessarily have to do anything with that. So that's why I'm pretty much fine with them not like. But as someone that holds Bitcoin, I'd be okay with it. But at the same time, like I'm probably more okay with them not doing it, if that makes sense. So again, just speculation here, and I've just seen the idea thrown around. I'm not the only one that said it, and I do ultimately think, given that they're raising this amount of cash, I do ultimately think their plan is to use the investment policy in some shape or form. So right now, it's just being used to buy T-bills, and if they're just buying T-bills, yes, they're earning high interest. But what happens when we're not in a high interest rate environment, right? But I saw this headline on Yahoo Finance. I'm going to quickly touch on this. Americans are the most bullish they've been on stocks in years. Households are starting to feel better about their financial situations. One, I love the picture, dude, just sitting on the bull in New York on Wall Street. But number one, is this really that accurate? Because I feel like a lot of people I talk to, I mean, maybe it's just people around my age, but inflation seems to be hurting a lot of people around me, or just people discussing that it seems like not the greatest time to invest. Also, given how much stocks have gone up over this past like year and a half or so, and I mean, just in 2024 alone, right? If we get out of here, advertisement. If we go to 2024 alone, year to date, or sorry, this is just the past, this is 6 months, right? But let's go year to date. S&P is up from 4,700 to pretty much a new all-time high the last trading day, right, on Friday, 5,375. So what is this, like a 20% move? That's pretty significant for just year to date. And a lot of people say also on the other side of it that continue to remain bullish is that there's just so much money being flooded in, and so much money constantly being printed. And just like other things inflate, so do assets. But at the same time, I feel like it's very dangerous, right? Because look, after 2000, we went through like an elongated period of dropping for a few years. Climb all the way back, '07, another crash, drop. Climb all the way back by 2013. And then from there, it's just been pretty much straight up. I remember this time in 2015, this was when I really first started in the market. Oh, we're due for a market crash. And I thought, yeah, we probably are. Great. I'm going to buy stocks when it crashes because I'm a new investor. That's what you're supposed to do. I mean, at the time also I'm 15. I'm very naive, 15, 16 years old at this time. So, but even there, right, it seemed like such an elongated period. And then it kind of dropped off a little. But imagine I just bought even the top right here. I'd still have done so well, right? If I just buy and hold, we climb up. Again, a little scare in 2018. I remember this too. This is when I was like in late high school. I think this is when Bitcoin was crashing after the 2018 rally. And at that time, again, I thought, oh, it's going way lower. Nope. And then obviously this is the pandemic. This was like very, very quick. And I'll tell you, for myself, and I think a lot of other people thought it was going to take way longer for the market to climb back, right? But literally by the end of August, we were back above where we were previously crashed, and it just shows how much money flooded, how quickly, how much money flooded into the system, right? And then we had this big jump, and then we had a pretty significant drop off. Like 2022 as a whole was a pretty rough year, but 2023, right? Because 2023 starts right here, was a great year, and then you have 2024 starts right here, and it's just been whoop up. So obviously, a lot of time left to go in 2024. You know, we're only about halfway there, so we'll see. We'll see, right? But all just food for thought there. And look at the GameStop weekly charts right now, or sorry, monthly candlesticks right here. Pretty, you know, again, just generally speaking, it seems like it's still a significant breakout, even if, let's say, the month closes at this exact price we're at right now, 25. It's still way higher than it was, you know, when the month of May started and when we were really down in the dumps in April. So, well, again, all just food for thought. We'll see how it shakes out over time. Quite the journey, though. I'll definitely say that. Share offering, you might understand the buy opportunity presented, not financial advice. Yeah, D, no, that's also a good point. Project Burpee, yes, sir. Speculation. Hey, Patrick, I like to, you know, stick to the facts, but also throw a little speculation out there. Just talk about what people are talking about. So, yeah. Hi, Tetron. Annie, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here. Haha, Ryan Kitty is the most tinfoil investor of all time. So, yes, what he puts out is meant to be decoded. I don't remember. I don't remember movies enough to really dissect these though. Danzo, yeah, I kind of feel the same. Where it's like it's fun for me, and I more so like to read other people's theories on it because one, I'm not really a huge movie watcher, and two, I don't know. I feel like you really got to dig deep on some of this stuff, and I like to dig more deep on fundamentals than speculation. But that's just me, and I think it's totally fine, right? So people say, "Why do you like to speculate? That's so stupid." And it's like some people just enjoy it. It's fun. Like, what's wrong with that? Why do people care about that, right? Like, that's such a weird thing to me. And so another side note, I hate the new YouTube format where like it recommends other videos like right underneath the video, then the comments are on the side. Well, I mean, I guess live streams are always like I don't know. I just don't like the new YouTube format how they changed it recently. But yes, live stream is historic. D, honestly, I think so. I think that live stream will be looked at one day like the history books of like truly an iconic moment. I loved so much the SEC DTCC only waited like 3.5 years only to get trolls. Pretty much, Danzo. Pretty much. Like that's the funniest part to me. People don't get that were saying it. Like, oh yeah, like he didn't say anything. There was nothing significant about that stream, but all he really did was pretty much just troll the mainstream media. Like I said before, like this clip I'll show you. Look at this. They have a short seller on with the host showing his live stream. When have you ever seen CNBC show his live stream, like show anybody's live stream while on their like live platform? Like it's just such a bizarre thing, right? And I think it really shows like a turning moment in financial media because this is where they're at, where they're losing viewership. People don't actually believe any of the nonsense they're saying. Like, yeah, sure, some people put on CNBC, especially older people. I feel like, again, generally speaking, just to hear what's going on in the markets. But a lot of people are picking up on the fact they just throw a bunch of nonsense on there a lot of times, right? And it goes both ways with being bullish and bearish and various different things, right? But what's funny to me, I saw someone point out, look closely here. You can see they're literally just live streaming from a computer. They don't even have the other tab X'd out, right? They have another tab open, like with his live. Oh, wait, no, maybe that's. Oh, maybe that's Roy Kitty's live stream. Actually, my bad. I could be wrong there, but let's just look at this man's face. Just look at it. It's so funny, right? This is my favorite right here. You gotta laugh at that, right? You gotta laugh. Like, look at this man. He's just talking, sharing how he feels, just chilling, hanging out, catching up, showing he's doing well and he's in good spirits. And this man. And dude, by the way, appreciate you guys showing so much love on this tweet, right? And again, I had it towards the end here, and like, just look at it. He's just like smiling, talking. And look how seriously, like, oh, you guys put this in nicer words than I could have. I couldn't have said this in any nice way, right? So funny. Oh man, this journey is so funny. And honestly, to keep it real with you guys, I was saying this a little bit previously. Maybe some of you heard me say it. I didn't think he would stream. I got to be honest. I didn't think he would stream. And then when he didn't come on right away, that's another way he was trolling, right? If you think about it, CNBC was waiting. They were literally reporting live, like, Roaring Kitty's stream should start any minute now. And he just didn't start for 28 minutes. He just kept it. And they're like, at the start of this clip, too. Or no, I think it's this clip I have right here. Another one, right? Where look how they do it, guys. Breaking news! Breaking news! Oh my gosh, what's going on? The halftime report.
What's been happening? It
Look at
doesn't
this.
seem like there's a lot of new, but nonetheless,
Look at this man's face too. Look at this. Look at this right here.
We're monitoring this, as you can see, kind of on the
We're
live
monitoring
stream right
this.
now. We're also keeping a close eye on the market action.
You gotta laugh at this. Like, how can you not laugh at
what
this?
appears to be the 13th maybe trading halt
Like, how
of
can you
the
not laugh
session so far.
And then I'm sure you guys saw the other clip where I think I don't know who posted it first, but it was going around, right? A lot of people were posting it where they were reporting on it live when it started, and he was just doing that thing where he was kind of just trolling around with like the hospital sound, like surprise, like I'm not dead, right? Like he was basically trolling them because they were live streaming that in real time. And again, breaking news: Ron Kitty reiterates belief in GameStop. Ryan Cohen's potential to turn around the business. Like he's just straight up trolling them. That's what I think people on the outside looking in and that aren't following things as closely are missing here. Like he's just straight up trolling them and saying like, and also a lot of people are saying this too, and I agree, where it's like he's playing into the part or this like, how do I want to put this? Like he's being made out to be this meme lord, just meme investor, right? Meme stocks, meme stocks, meme stocks. That's their favorite thing to say, and to label GameStop as, to throw with these other nonsense companies. And by the way, there would be no such thing as a meme stock if it wasn't for GameStop. So I think he's playing into the part like, oh yeah, like I'm just about the memes, I'm just a silly goose, right? But there's no way his position grew to as large as it did and he accumulated that much wealth by just being an idiot, right? Like I think he's truly one of the best traders of this generation, and people think that's crazy, but also on here, like we'll get to the algo stuff next, right? Sorry, there's so many tabs. I'm just yapping away here. There's so much to talk about, but this was interesting perspective. Shout out to Fat Dad Dirk. He's always posting some good stuff coming from Superstonk. I don't go on Reddit that much anymore, here and there, but really I'm mostly an X guy, so I always appreciate when people share stuff on there. So this person said, have we discussed DFE's average cost for his exact positions? His cost base isn't as low as expected. So just a little weekend motivation and encouragement as we enter another wild week with the crazy man himself, Keith Kill, aka Roaring Kitty, aka DFV, back in the hide seat and multiplying money faster than J Powell can print it. I was really surprised to see the average cost of his shares in his most recent YOLO updates. I wanted to compare them with the past value and present values. His average isn't as low as I expected it to. And if someone were to walk in off the street and buy their first GME shares right now, their basis would be really similar to DFE's. So here's how it shakes up. YOLO update, the last one, previous to the most recent ones, April 2021, 200,000 shares for $55 and about 17 cents average cost. Adjusted for 4-for-1 split, it's about 800,000 shares and $13.79. Okay, this is fairly low like I expected. But then he posted YOLO update at the beginning of June. And dude has massively expanded his position, 5 million shares, so he gained 4.2 million from 3 years ago. Average cost of 21.27. This means he bought 4.2 million shares at an average cost of 22.69.87. So pretty much about 22.70. You know, we'll say 69 because who doesn't love the number 69? Then we have his options. He currently sits on 120,000 calls, $20 strike price, average cost of 567. Which let's see right now, actually, where those options are at. I should have pulled up a different thing for options, but that's right. We already got Yahoo Finance here. So 9 trading days away or 9 business days away until these options expire. So we'll see what happens. They're still trading higher. Oh, actually, you know, I literally have his position over here. Oh, wait, not there. I can start getting rid of some of the unnecessary tabs. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, follow me on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it these days. I'm always tweeting out like updates when I'm streaming. This week it's gonna be Monday, Tuesday. I'm gonna try and squeeze a stream in Thursday night. I have to see. I've had so much going on, and unfortunately, very unfortunate. My girlfriend's uncle was battling cancer and passed away, so I gotta figure out when the week and funeral is for that. So rest in peace to him. Do a brief moment of silence out of respect. Okay, so I have to work around that for the potential of doing another stream later this week. So I'll let you guys know on that. But definitely Monday, Tuesday, running streams this week. So stay tuned tomorrow as well. But what did I want to get to here? Oh, so his YOLO update. So look how much he's down today, 51 million, and he just seems unfazed, right? That's the craziest part to me. Even during the stream, he's watching the price down 40%, which means his options were down way more that day, right? And he just seems like completely unfazed. And the options are at 681, so he's still up 20% on them. But yeah, it's crazy, right? It's crazy. And so they still have a pretty decent premium on it considering 24.83. So they're trading at about a $2 a piece premium right now. And there's 152,000 outstanding for this particular option. So there's another 32,000 that he doesn't own that are out there. What would be crazy is if this man bought even more, right? Because it does seem pretty bizarre given how short dated they are. Whereas previously, when he had call options, there was long dated call options. So with that, you might have thought that initially, right? If you had options, I would guess, like if you had said, "Oh, Roaring Kitty's options," guess which ones he has. I would honestly have guessed like one of these three down the line, right? Either January 25, June 2025, or January 26, 2016. We're going backwards. I mean, sources say he is a time traveler, right? I mean, maybe this man is a time traveler. I don't know. Some of the things I've seen, it's crazy all these little details you guys find out there. It's actually wild. But some of the stuff I've seen, I'm like, this man really might be from the future. I don't know. But I would have thought he would have bought options on one of these, right? But apparently that was not the case. So it is what it is. But crazy. So much going on. So finish this here and then we'll hit the chat. He currently sits on 120,000 calls at 20 strike price, an average cost of 567 per contract. If he exercises all of those, he'll officially be sitting at 17 million shares at an average cost of 24.38. That's only 15.74% up from Friday's close and 11.4% up from Friday's after hour close. And pretty much he would be actually just about even, right? 24.83 today. His average cost would be 24.38. That's only, yeah, so got it right there. So what's my point? Probably a lot of apes here have a better average cost than DFE currently does. And dude is still owing it all on Ryan Cohen writing the GME ship and taking the company to the next level. Dude's not an idiot. He's very calculated. Yes, he's a goof who puts on costumes and makes sophisticated memes, but let's not forget he was a CFA and worked in the financial world for a good bit before making it big on GameStop. 100% accurate right there. And you'll see, what's his name? Martin Schiarelli, whatever his name is, right? Oh, anyone could. This is nothing on a resume. Blah blah blah. He said some shit like that today in a tweet, right? I shouldn't even go on his page anymore because then it just keeps popping up in my feed. You know what you have to do when you see that? And I'm not doing that to this person here. You just go not interested. Oh no, it's in your, it has to be in your timeline, right? If you go to your timeline, you go to the three dots, you can do not interested. So if you ever see someone like that or something you don't want to see, just do not interested, right? And when you do that, it hurts them in the algo. Just saying. So the thing is too, people, you don't have to have like all these, like there's been a lot of people in history, right, that have succeeded very much and haven't had all these credentials. And there's a lot of people who have a lot of credentials and you talk to them and you look at some of the stuff they've put out and you're like, how do you have all these credentials, right? So it goes both ways. And obviously there's situations where people have a lot of credentials and they've done a lot of incredible things in their career. And I'm talking about just general, right? Not just even the stock market, just any career in general. But then there's also a lot of situations where people don't have a lot of credentials, but they just worked really hard. They really put a lot of work into whatever they do. And for him, it's trading in some shape or form, or various shapes and forms. So he put a lot of work into it and he's improved over time. How else would he have accumulated all this cash? And even in his testimony, he said, like, you know, he had a difficult time finding a job because when he got his license and pretty much like finished up his school and everything, it was 2009. There was a lot of people hiring. He worked for various startups, and by 2019, he was working for Mass Mutual, and then he resigned on January 28th, 2021, and because of obviously everything that started happening. But he didn't really have a choice, from what I can tell. He was pretty much forced into doing it because they're like, "Oh, we can't have this guy here. Oh my God!" But he's betting big on this play. He's always been betting big. But it's not like his current position is up 1,000% and he's just laughing. We're barely higher than where his average cost is now, and he's still supremely confident in the thesis and sees massive upside from here. Keep hodling apes, something big is afoot. As famous rocket scientist once said, buckle up. But again, do what you want at the end of the day, guys. I'm not in the business of telling anyone what to do. I really believe everyone should do whatever they like. That's what free and fair market should be, right? Everyone's going to do what they want at the end of the day and make their own individual decisions. Some people are going to trade options. Some people are going to buy in, sell out, buy back in, right? There's going to be all kinds of people doing all kinds of things. And that's the market, right? That's the market. And at the end of the day, you got to determine what's best for you as an individual. And by the way, quick side note on this chart here, this doesn't account for the $80 pre-market that we saw when, because this doesn't have pre-market active on here. So this was even way higher that Tuesday morning before it dropped off massively. It gapped up way higher. It was literally at $80 at one point in the pre-market, which was like 130%, 140% the pre-market. And it's like, have you ever seen that? Not Roaring Kitty, not that cat. Tom and Jerry. Of Tom like, oh, like the golden elevator. That was literally me when I woke up. I was like, oh, what the heck? What is going on right now? And that was a crazy morning. That was such a crazy morning. It was one of those days, like literally impossible to focus on work that day. I'm sure you guys have been having some of those days. I can't be the only one these past few days. But let's see. Loved it so much. SCDC, yep. Bubba Solana, yeah. Pepe, can't have that. No Solana coins in here. You're getting put in timeout, my friend. Where is it? Timeout. Damn. 174 you guys here. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you popping in. Timeout. 24 hours. Goodbye. It doesn't matter what we or Kitty prove because those crooks and bought judges are unreasonable. Kong, Fuzi, thanks for being here. Listen, that's the thing too that I think, and I was going to get to here, really, and you can read some of these comments, right, as I start to go through it. And he's like, oh, I think I'm going to end the stream now. Wait, watch this. I'm going to end the stream now. Right? And then, and then it literally halts down, right? And I'm going to get caught up with the chat here, and then you can look at some of these comments right here as I'm doing that. Tinfoil hat wearing. Hey, Keenan, like I said, it's fun sometimes. It's fun, and that's all right. 420 million outstanding. Probably gathers 2 billion more of the other 2 billion they had, approximately. Wendy, what up? Thanks for being here. 4 should be around 12 on cash. D, thank you for that quick math. That sounds about right, honestly. I bought 267 10K shares at 37 last week. Keenan, nice. Wish you all the best, brother. And listen, again, for me, I've just been buying and holding, and it's easy for me to say that because I've been accumulating shares literally this whole way. I used to mess with options in this whole range here, and then here, after this run up, I was like, nah, that's it. I'm just doing shares from here. Buy, 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 buy. Here, I was like, oh, I'm gonna chill for a while because I've been buying this whole time, right? Dollar cost averaging, but even then, right in here, right, this little dip, a rare Tetron trade, I sold a put option. And again, that's a bullish position. And then previously, like way back here, no, here, October of 2023, I sold a put for 2025. And I'm trying not to close that one yet because, well, it is still way out of the money, so I'm feeling good on it. It'll probably be able to collect the full premium by the time it gets to that. It's a $10 put for January 2025. And I also want to have long-term capital gains tax. So when you hold any position, whether it's stock or an option, over a 5-year period, sorry, not 5-year period, I have the 5-year chart up on here, that's why I'm mixed up, but over a 1-year period, it's long-term capital gains and not short-term capital gains. And long-term capital gains, generally speaking, is taxed at a lower rate. So that one, I'm going to let it be a long-term trade. The short-term trade I have right now is selling the $15 put for July 15th, 2024. And obviously, I'll hold that less than 1 year. And I'm trying to hopefully let it expire worthless. And then it'll be a nice $100 of premium I was able to collect, right? Because I sold it for $1, which is $100. I'd put up 1,500 of collateral. And the nice thing is on Fidelity, when you do that, you also earn 5% APY on the underlying cash being in a money market fund. But let me be perfectly clear. Please do not say, OMG, Tetron sold these options, these puts. This is what I should do. No, make your own decision. Please, I'm literally begging you to make your own individual decisions. Never, ever blindly follow what I do or anybody on the internet. Take time to think, reason, do your research, and determine, is this something I want to do? Whether it's a trade, a long-term position, an option, GameStop, crypto, S&P, whatever you're into, right? You gotta think like that. It's so, so important, right? I now own 71 shares. Traylock, nice. Appreciate you popping back in. Hope you're doing well. 75 million share offer is complete. Will total float be 425 million? Approximately, where did I have it over here? So it'd be about 426.2 officially. So as of right now, they have 351 million, 0.2 shares. So with that, oh, we got to zoom out here. So right now it equates to about 570 a share and then about 2 billion in cash, but roughly going to have 4 to 5 billion after this one's complete, right? Obviously depending on what average price point they sell them at, but that'll take them up to, what do we just say? 426 million shares. Okay, you guys saw it. You get the point. Wait, yep. there we go. There's the little summary. So, and by the way, if you guys are ever confused, like I have great advice. I'm not in the business of giving advice, but here's an idea. When you read this, you go, what is at the market offering? I don't know what that means. You go over here, you open up your buddy. Everyone has a research assistant. Whether you know it or not, you have a research assistant. I say, Mr. ChatGPT, what is an ATM share offering? Right? And I'm not saying you have to do it for particularly this, but what's great about ChatGPT is it gives you information. You could clarify things, right? Or like, okay, well, this part lower cost doesn't make sense. Explain in simpler terms. And I'm just trying to simply show you guys right here that this is a great tool, and you should always check this information, make sure it's absolutely accurate, because as it says right here, ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important info. But if you want general definitions and general information, I think it's great. But if you're like, oh, what was the high of the day for GameStop today? Stock today. It's probably not going to be accurate, right? I guarantee you it's not going to be accurate. 29.34. Let's see. Watch, it's actually going to be accurate. It might actually be accurate, but see, it's getting better over time. But I'm just saying, if you're doing specific, I guarantee it's going to be accurate now that I said that. But I think you guys get the point I'm trying to make here. It's a tool to use, right? It's a research tool, but test. Oh, sorry, I thought my mic got disconnected for a second, but it's a research tool, right? For trying to understand things better and like making things simpler and breaking things down for yourself, right? But you shouldn't just be like, grab the whole GameStop filing and be like, summarize this filing in 2 paragraphs. Like, that's not going to do anything for you, right? So it's very situational, but it was accurate here. Look, 29.34. But that's the thing too, and it's showing, and to me, it's scary how AI is evolving, because when I first started using ChatGPT, that was not the case at all. So just shows you how AI is evolving over time. It's crazy, but showing in real time how the algos react to triggers manipulating the market. And we'll get into this topic here in a moment, right? And we'll get into the halts and the glitches. Let me get through the chat, and then we're going to get to the halts and the glitches, because there's a lot going on with that. And then wait, water, guys. Water, hydration is so damn key. Do not forget to drink water. But, all right, this is a little more zoomed out. But this past month, crazy past month and a half. So much volatility, but I'm for it. And anyone that's been here a long time, like, you know what I mean, when it's like first time, that's literally any long-term GameStop holder to any short-term GameStop holder, or anyone that's newer to GameStop, because anyone that's been this in a long time, ever since January 2021, there's been immense amounts of volatility. That's just the way it is. But I bought 267 shares, 71 shares. And listen, that's the thing too. Always determine the amount of shares you can own based on yourself as an individual, your own financial situation. Like, never worry about what anyone else is doing. Like, some people post positions, I'm like, holy whale, like, you guys have a huge amounts of positions, right? But again, that's where you got to determine where you're at yourself as an individual. Last 4 weeks felt long in the last 3 years. For real, Ryan, I think that's a pretty accurate statement. Thanks for being here tonight. Yo, go Oilers tonight, right? They got to win tonight. If the Oilers don't win tonight, I think they're in tough shape. I mean, I know they're going back to Edmonton, and they say, oh, yeah, you don't lose a series, or you're not in trouble in a series until you lose a home game. But going down 2-0 against the Florida Panthers with the way they've been playing, I don't know about that, brother. We'll see. So the Oilers better win tonight, man. Let's go. I have it. My prediction, if you're curious, 3-2. Oilers win in overtime. Evan Bouchard game-winning goal. That's my theory. How the turntables? Exactly, Project Burpees. Exactly, yes, sir. I keep getting recommendations for shills that putting up that don't recommend dislike. Danzo, yeah, it's that time we're at. It's a hot topic. Suddenly, there's a lot of self-proclaimed GameStop experts, and let me be perfectly clear. I am not trying to say that I'm a GameStop expert because I've talked about it a long time or been interested in it a long time. That's not what I'm saying at all. But you have other people coming out of the woodwork. Oh, yeah, well, clearly this is what's happening here. Oh, if I was a run kitty, this. Oh, that, right? Blah, blah, blah. Cheers to you, Tatron and everyone. DB, cheers. Hope you're doing well, brother. Just bought 50 shares. Thank you to buying more. Hey, Matt, again, like I was saying before, it all comes down to you as an individual. That guy, Andrew Left, continues to lose money, and Roaring Kitty can't believe it. Bashfork, yeah, Andrew Left. I think it's one of those, like, maybe he just likes the attention, because to be honest, like, would any of us really have known who he was if he didn't keep shorting GameStop, right? So maybe it's like an attention thing, kind of like Martin Schiaparelli. That's what I kind of think his situation is, right? He just loves attention. Oh, attention, attention, right? And then Andrew Left is like, well, at least people know my name. And I always think of that Wall Street, not Wall Street, Wolf of Wall Street scene. You see this? You say this? Where it's like, you say this? They're calling me the Wolf of Wall Street. Honey, any publicity is good publicity. Mainstream media is comical. It's true, Keenan. It's true. It's okay. Kind of send help. Send help. Yeah, it's so funny. Bands on his bandages and T-shirt are brilliant. Dear GME, thanks for being here. Yeah, for real, man. Like his attention to detail to little things is so funny. Queen Marvin Pastor plan to get Shorts to double down. He's playing the clown Joker and get the media to feed into it. Exactly, Bash Fork. Exactly. That is spot on with right there. Let me read that again. Could be part of his master plan to get Shorts to double down. He's playing the clown slash Joker role and getting the media to feed into it, and they absolutely are. And anybody who's not paying attention thinks, "Oh, this guy's just such a bozo. Where's he getting all this money? He's just wasting money, right?" They don't see it. Wrinkle brain for sure, exactly. Hedge funds will push the price down below $20. Screw Roaring Kitty. I think you put bit of wisdom. Interesting name. Thanks for being here. And I like your little meme as a profile picture there. But I think you meant Roaring Kitty. But yeah, that seems like what they might be doing, right? But at the same time, I don't know. What if then suddenly GameStop finishes its share offering? Then it's like, it's probably going to see a big move up, right? Because right here was when they pretty much announced this was the share offering complete. Oh no, right back here. This is when the share offering was complete, right? So, and that kind of ignited the next rally. But obviously, that was last time. Doesn't mean it's necessarily what we'll see next time. DFE bold thesis is Ryan Cohn. If you think they are against each other, you might need to review your thesis. Sorry, Miss Hedge Funds. Exactly. No, you're good, D. You're good. They push price below 20, they're just digging their own grave. It's true. Below 20 is dangerously close to cash value, and they would screw themselves. Might touch 18, but not for long. Not for long. Now they have all sorts of fuckery up their sleeves. They always do. Bit of wisdom. That's absolutely a fair point. Listen, that's the thing too, where I always try and say, and I say it a lot, maybe it's a little bit repetitive, but be ready for anything and everything. That's the first thing I tweeted this morning, right? So I'll show you guys. Oh, what did I just do? It's the first thing I tweeted this morning, right? Be prepared for anything and everything. This is why I love AI. It's so scary and how it's evolving and getting crazy. But where it's so fun is I'm like, generate an image of a bull in a spacesuit on the moon visiting a GameStop store. And like, come on, how do you not laugh at this? Like, I would have never been able to make this, right? My thumbnails for my stuff has gotten so much better ever since AI has become a thing. So I'm incredibly thankful, and I'm just trying to use it because everyone else is using it. Cat's out of the bag, right? Genie's out of the bottle. There's no going back at this point with AI. But I said prepare for more volatility, maybe some trading halts this week for GameStop. But prepared for anything and everything. Oh, I thought I threw that in there. Get it mixed up with everything, guys. But, oh, I swear I thought I tweeted that this week, but I try and say it a lot, tweet it a lot because it's true. You have to be mentally ready for anything. I've been in this long enough to know that every time you think something's going to happen, always give yourself room for doubt that it might just not happen that way in the short term, right? And that's just the way she goes with this stock. And I'm honestly all right with that. Maybe not everyone is, and that's why I think some people have gotten out over time, but I think anyone who's been in a while now just understands, like, you just got to ride these waves if you're in it for the long run. So what about their idea that it's next Berkshire Hathaway? Did average Berkshire investor when failed company come out rich once Buffett took over? Trelec, I'm not too sure. I'd have to do a little bit more history lesson on that. That's a little bit different because that was so long ago. And if you look up the story on it, pretty much Warren Buffett was mad about, like, he was invested in them, but they weren't listening to what he wanted to do with the company. And at that time, textile company, like, that was actually a thing, right? Now it's like, what textile companies, right? And what nobody, that, like, Berkshire's become so much more. That's what I'm trying to say. So, but basically what happened at that time period was they were like not listening to him. He's like, fine, you don't want to listen to me? I'm just going to buy the whole damn company. I'm going to buy so many shares until I own the whole damn thing. And that's pretty much what happened, right? Sorry for your loss. Dizzy, thank you very much. Appreciate you popping in. Sorry for your family loss. Thank you, D. Thank you. Like, me and my girlfriend, 4.5 years now. It's actually crazy. Met in college all this time. So, yeah, really, I appreciate those words, guys. Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm just getting caught up on the chat here. But, yeah, thank you, Keaton. Thank you all. Appreciate the words. Rest in power. Thank you, Liam. Thank you. There's a market event called Quadruple Witching that occurs in his options expiration date. Oh, Bash Fork. I didn't even realize that was Quad Witching date. That is always an interesting time, right? You got a lot of different stuff expiring. What is it? Options, certain derivatives, quarterlies, right? All different things going on. But back in early January 2021, it looks like his Jan 5th, 2021 $20 call would expire out of the money. Then boom, GME doubles the week of January 5th, 2021. And again, water break, yes sir. Yo, the Morant's Rants water break is pour it on your head, right? For me, I'm gonna give you my best water break. Mine is like chug it like a beer. Not the best chug in the world, but I didn't start coughing or choking, right? Sure enough, what do I do right there? Cough. Get that out of here. So we are inevitable. Giga, thanks for being here. What up? What up? Dude, I just rescheduled a job for that Roaring Kitty stream. Totally worth it. Sir Moist, I almost wanted to call out sick. I'm not gonna lie to you. And everyone who was in my stream that Thursday night before, I was like, I was saying like, oh, I'm getting a cold coming on. I might have to call out tomorrow, right? And in hindsight, I really wish I did because it was so hard to work that day, right? When the Roaring Kitty stream started, though, I had it on the side. When it started, like I was like, okay, is it actually gonna start? What's the deal? I was originally gonna take lunch at 12. Excuse me, and only get 30 minutes, so I was like, I'm gonna wait and see till it starts. Thankfully, I did that because it didn't start till 12:28. As soon as it actually started, I was like, all right, guys, I'm going on lunch. So I was like, I have to catch this thing live right now. So, what did Solana do? Chicken curry. Thanks for being here. I have nothing against Solana personally, just the Solana GME coins, no. No thanks. Not in the business of those nonsense coins, right? It's crazy. Anything that becomes a trend or is talked about, there's coins, right? Presidential candidates. You have Trump coin this, Bowden coin for Biden. You have Roaring Kitty coin, right? And anything that people start talking about on the internet, let's make a coin for it and start scamming people, right? What a world we live in. It's crazy. Options tax treatment is a little tricky. Not options 1 year term held or treated as long term. Oh, DB. Thank you for that. I've never held an option on a 1 year period. So let me look into that more. I appreciate you saying that very much. Thank you. See, literally, sometimes, guys, I learn things from you. And that's really what's so important. Like, always keep learning. It's so, so damn important to keep learning it for real. So, options long term. Because that might totally change how I go about it, right? Potentially. But at the same time, I can capture the most gain by letting it fully expire worthless, which I believe it will. And again, that's just what I think. Nobody knows anything for certain. So much to catch on, catch up on. You guys should see. Look at my desk, guys. Look how many post-its I have all over here. I'm totally one of those people where I have post-its all over the desk. Long-term capital gains. Oh my god, and my handwriting. Look at this. Chicken scratch. This is why I should type more, but this is a good perspective. Selling puts again to 5% interest. Exactly. A quest called Tribe. Thank you for being here. Yeah, listen, that's the nice part about selling puts. You collect the premium, and in a high interest environment, you're also collecting the money market interest as well. So at $20, 20 shares today at 23, holding forever. One. Thank you for being here. Hey, I wish you the best of luck with that, brother. What did I miss? Rants. Nothing, man. You're just in time, man. Did you see my water break? Not as good as your water break, but that's the best I got. So, Tetron, while doing analysis, what do you find yourself leveraging ChatGPT for? Anything specific? Keenan, for me, it's really definitions. And when I read something, I'm like, I don't quite understand that. Like when I'm going through the filing, I'm like, the thing I use it most commonly for is I'll be like, explain in simple terms, and I'll take a paragraph and put it in there, right? And if it spits something out that I pretty much understand, I'll be like, so if this is the case, and a company has 1 billion in cash or let's say 2 billion in current assets, and let's say the current ratio, right, which is current assets to current liabilities, and then I would have I'm asking a follow-up question on that. It's like, okay, if a company's current ratio is 3.1 and they have 1.5 billion in current assets, then what are their current liabilities, right? So, I mean, that's not the best example, but pretty much to explain things in simple terms, and then you can ask it a follow-up question. That's what I like, right? When you do a Google search, you find information, you read on it, and you got to do another Google search. When you do AI, you look something up, you get information on it, and then you can ask it a follow-up question. And again, when you go into really detailed things, it's really a good idea. I do encourage you to check like other sources and don't just blindly follow everything it says. But for me, really breaking things down that I don't understand in simple terms, I think that's the best use case that I've found over time. And it's made me smarter, right? And even sometimes at work, like when I have a long, complicated email, I'm like, like I know I have all the points in there, but I want it to be simple for the customer or the consumer, right? And I work in like basically transferring money. Funny enough, it's non-ACAT transfers. It's alternative assets, outside the DTC. And I have to always say to that people, we only do non-ACAT transfers. Like, what's that mean? I'm like, don't even get me started. But basically, I would put emails in there sometimes, and I'll be like, grammar correct and improve, and then it'll spit it out in a different way, and I'm like, oh, okay. I don't just blindly copy and paste it. I'm like, oh, okay. Let me switch these two sentences around because that makes a little more sense. Or, yeah, that's a better adjective to put there to describe what I'm talking about here. So just stuff like that, right? The little stuff. When are they going to finish this offering? Anthony Liang, thanks for being here. That's a great question. I was talking about before, we had a lot of volume these past couple days. 227.6 million on Friday, 127.6 Monday. So if it's like last time, it would theoretically be this Friday afternoon, right? If it's exactly the same as last time. But obviously, there's no guarantee that that's the case. But I would think starting to lean more and more towards sooner than rather than later in terms of when it'll be completed, just because of how much volume we saw these past couple trading days since it was announced, and on top of it, just like mostly the volume and just how fast they completed the last one. It kind of makes me think this one will be completed fast too. But then they're really gonna have a war chest, and from there, it truly matters how they execute. Like I've been saying this for a long time too. And again, I'm not what do they call it in Dune? The Asal Gib, or I don't know what it is. He's the one, right? I'm not trying to be that at all. I'm just trying to say, like, for a long time I've said they have to execute. Like ultimately to drive forwards and succeed in the long term, they have to execute and make big moves that drive them to success and either ultimately raise revenue subsequently with net income. We've seen, right? And this isn't updated yet. We don't have, I don't have 2024 Q1 on here, although I can now add it. So add it to the list of things to do, right? Update the graphics. And shout out to whoever said a while back, because I had like red and green. I was trying to use like the Tetron colors, like my logo, and I might have to update the logo soon. It's been like that for a long time. But basically, someone was in one of my streams, like, you should use different colors because it's hard to read. I'm like, that's very true. Yellow and blue just pops off the screen so much more. So update charts. Okay. So we've seen, the net income significantly improve. Like you look at any quarter in 2022 versus the same quarter in 2023, net income saw a significant improvement all around. And ultimately, while revenue was down about 650 million year over year total, net income was for a swing, right? It swung $320 towards the upside, and they were able to turn net profit. So at this point, they've pretty much trimmed the fat, and then also SG&A came in even lower, right? The only disappointing thing is as a percentage of revenue, it went back up to like 33%, which is kind of what we saw in 2022. But SG&A for 2024 Q1 was 295 million. So with that, you see like that they've really trimmed a lot of the excess for the company, and they're in a position where they can be net profitable. But now they have to find a way to either, for a long time I've been saying, like drive forwards and ultimately get back to revenue growth and subsequently net income growth along with it, right? But another part of me thinks now, and this would also, not that this doesn't necessarily tie into it, but part of me also thinks the investment policy will be a big factor, because why else would they be raising so much cash right now? And are they going to go the approach of fully acquiring other companies? Are they going to go the approach of investing in other stocks? But, and I know I keep floating the idea of Bitcoin. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. If I had to guess, it's going to be acquisitions, right? And I think a lot of people are looking at public companies for acquisitions, but who's to say it's not a small company that's up and coming? Some kind of small gaming studio that not that many people have heard of, and right, that's just a random example. And if that gaming studio is on the come up, but still a lot of people haven't heard of it, for them, right, they would get to work with the GameStop team or any company in general, right? It doesn't have to be a gaming studio. And they would get the attention of so many individuals like myself or like you watching this. Oh, what's this company that GameStop better acquire? Just acquired. I better go look into it. I better go try it out, right? So it would be beneficial for both sides. And obviously it depends on the scenario and if it's a small company, if they want to sell, because if they're small and they're doing well, they might be like, all right, well, we want to just keep as much ownership as we can, right? Whoever the founders are. But then also maybe a situation where a certain individual, Ryan Cohen and the rest of the board approves of him. They add this individual to the board. That's something that happens sometimes when there's an acquisition. So maybe, like, my point is, if there is going to be an acquisition, I'm starting to think it'll be something that not a lot of us have heard of, to be honest with you. And I think that's a good thing because it would give them a lot more publicity from being involved with GameStop and a part of GameStop. And then for GameStop, if they are making that acquisition, they have to acquire something that is profitable and capable to be integrated into their current business model, right? So, oh, and just realize, gotta go like this because we got the webcam blocking the full year total for 2023, but you guys get the point here. See, Tetron, Cars Corner Pocket, what up? Thanks for being here. Checking in to show support. Don, I appreciate that, man. Listen, guys, for real, if you could just subscribe, drop a like, follow me on X/Twitter, whatever you want to call it these days, at Tetron Invest. I totally understand. Not everyone's going to watch every video. Not everyone's going to watch every stream. Not everyone's going to see every tweet. But anytime you're around, you're just commenting a little, here for a little bit of time. Like, I genuinely appreciate that so much. Like, I get it. Not everyone is going to watch every single thing I do. Like, I'm a realist, guys. I really try and always keep it as real as possible. Like, that's been a major goal of mine on this channel as I built and evolved as an individual these past couple of years. But so thank you, Don. Thank you. I appreciate you very much. GME owner is diluting shares. Hornets, yeah. I mean, that's a good point in the sense where he himself, right, Ryan Cohen, is the largest shareholders. The board members are all shareholders. So while people say, oh, they're diluting shareholders, they're diluting themselves to them because they themselves are shareholders. Either way, Zen, let's fucking go. WM, yes, sir. Thank you very much for being here. 123888753. Just buy and hold. Only invest money that you can afford to lose. Very simple, but very great advice, right? I'm not giving financial advice. You said that, not me. But yeah, and the very basic explanation is if you can't afford to lose money, you shouldn't invest it, right? Like, you should always have that approach. Never, ever invest more than you can afford to lose. And I think you should take that approach with any company, right? Like, yeah, sure, maybe you don't have to necessarily take that approach as much if you go with Pepsi, but if you're thinking I'm going to need that money potentially in the short term, you don't know what's going to happen with Pepsi in 3 years. Yeah, sure, probably 10 years from now, Pepsi will be worth more if they just continue in the trajectory they've been on for the last 50 plus years. But you never know what's going to happen in the short term in the market. And people think, oh, 3 years, that's kind of short term. I mean, generally speaking, yeah, it sort of is. I mean, I guess you could call it more medium term, but that I still think the concept of never investing more than you can afford to lose really applies. So the yield dip, bought the GME dip because I can. Yes, sir. That's because you can. Tetron, you should watch Morantz's last video from an hour ago. AI, Nvidia, House of Cards, etc. Leap Froggles, thank you for being here. Yes, sir. I got to do that. I got to catch up on some Morantz rants because I've seen some speculation of what's going on with Nvidia, and it's like the numbers are being inflated, and I'm like, kind of makes sense. So take a look at that. Thank you very much for the suggestion. Video DD is round trip play. Oh, snap. Moran's in the house. Yes, sir. He was popping here before. Maybe he did. Maybe he's not. Either way, love you, brother. Thanks so much for popping in. One day, Tetron will be like Ryan Kitty to read the chat. Dearest Jimmy, I hope so, man. That's truly a journey. Even this is like hard to keep up with. Like, I feel like these past couple months, grown so much. You guys have been so awesome, man. I try to read everything, right? Because I genuinely appreciate everyone being here. So I want to react and talk with you guys. So I apologize if it ever slows down the stream, but I think I'm gonna do the chat as long as I can, right? It's so funny though, being like, it sounds so corny, right? Yo, chat, what do you think, chat? You know what I mean? Like, I never want to get like that. Like, that seems kind of crazy. Like, it's so crazy. People that are popular, like Speed, right? That guy's just like, oh, I'm gonna dive into my computer setup, right? Did I just yank out the cord? I'm gonna like break my headset trying to act like a fool. But I have a call option expiring this week. Thinking of roll call. Any suggestions, Sam? Honestly, I'm not too sure, man. Listen, premiums are so high right now. So for me, I think shares are the way to go right now. So thank you for being here. But honestly, at the end of the day, I think you got to really evaluate, like, how much risk are you willing to, I think I really did mess up my mic. Are you willing to take on? Because the reality of it is, whether Roaring Kitty has call options or not, call options are risky bets, especially when something has a high implied volatility. And GameStop has some of the highest, if not the highest, implied volatility on its options at this given moment in time. Lisan Al-Gib. Al-Gib. Yes. Thank you, Keenan. Yes, that's what I was trying to think of before. Can you warn chat that there's a fake Roaring Kitty account doing a live stream scamming people? Please report. GDST. Yes. Shout out to you. Thank you for saying that, guy. Thank you for saying that. Guys, be careful. There is a scam account that's essentially just restreaming Roaring Kitty's stream, and put a crypto thing on, like, oh, I'm giving away crypto, scan this link, right? And it's a scam. Do not do it. Be very careful right now. It's similar to like the GME Solana coins where they're like, oh yeah, um, buy this coin, but then there's also like the fake Roaring Kitty account, right? Let me see. Yeah, I saw it too. I don't remember the name, but if you want to throw down the name in there so you can tell people to avoid it, that's the way. I went long and bought more shares, even 2026, $10 call today during the dip. I'm bullish long term, short term, who knows? This is a very risky investment, as RK said, Ron Kitty said. Quest Call Tribe, you're absolutely right, because the reality of it is anything could happen in the short term with this company. We've seen that time and time again, and it goes both ways. And the reality of it is anytime you see it moving up like this, right, it can come down just as quick. You see it drop down like this, it can come back up just as fast. So anytime you see the stock moving very dramatically one way very quickly, just know it can go the other way. What am I doing? The other way very dramatically very quickly. And then it can switch, right? Back, forth, back, forth. So just be prepared for that. Ryan Kitty's stream was targeted towards the bad actors more than us apes. 1, 2, 3. I think you're absolutely right. I think you just want to show people he's in good spirits and like hate on him all you want. He doesn't give a damn. See Ryan Kitty's cat mask and AMC 15XXX on it. GDST, I did see some speculation on that, but I got to be frank with you, my friend. I don't think he has anything to do with AMC. He does not care about AMC, and I truly personally believe it's a distraction from GameStop. And listen, if you're in it, everyone is going to have their reasons. At the end of the day, again, I'm not in the business of telling anybody what to do with their money, but I really just think there's a lot of nonsense that goes on with AMC, and they've really padded their pockets. They haven't really done a good job of cutting costs, and it's unfortunate, right? People say, "Oh, do you not like the movies?" I don't have a personal vendetta against the movies, but I don't like Adam Aaron, and I don't like the way it's been portrayed as like, "Oh, it's the same thing," right? When they've been diluting a ton for years prior to what's going on with GameStop right now, and they weren't even doing ATMs. They were doing private offerings, right, at predetermined prices that were lower than the current stock price. So when you compare over the past couple of years, it's unfortunate, right? It's just unfortunate. And again, it's at the end of the day, everyone's going to do what they want to do, but this is AMC in the pink down here. And again, it's just straight up unfortunate. That's the reality of it. Is GME obligated to report completion of share offerings on the day of, or can they delay specific dates? Primac, that's a good question. I'm not 100% sure of the specific details. See, this is a great spot. Let's ask ChatGPT, but I don't want to do a Google search right now, so I encourage all of you, please double check this. But if you just want a quick perspective, right, this is where we do it. How long does a company have to report a share offering has been completed after all shares have been sold? And again, please fact check this just for quick information here because I'm trying to do everything on the fly. Reporting requirements for share offer completion depend on the regulatory framework of the governing the securities in question, typically dictated by the SEC. So it'll be an 8K when it's done. We do know that. I don't know if there's a specific time frame. Specific forms and timelines required. The company is generally required to disclose the completion in its next periodic report or via a press release. Although there isn't a specific mandatory time frame for filing a completion notice, companies are expected to provide timely and accurate information about the offering status to their investors. So I'd probably be able to find more information on that too within the document itself. Like over here, there's probably some specific disclosure on it. So again, that's just quick info there. I'd definitely fact check on that. But again, that should be another thing I should look up and find more info on. So at Roaring Kitty with a double I, that's the name. Thank you, GST. Thank you. Be on the lookout, guys. Be very careful. It's it's just the same, you have Roaring Kitty with an extra I. It's just the same as a fake URL, right? Like if you type in youtube.com, that could be and you'd say you ever get a link for that and someone sends it to you oh, / channel / Tetron, right? Oh, it's Tetron, right? That's a scam link because how you check links, guys, if you don't ever know, this is pro life tip right here. So we go to yahoofinance.com. You go to GME. How's my favorite stock, GameStop, doing today? Why is it not even, anyone seeing this nonsense? Why is it not coming up when you type in GME? That has never happened before. I swear that happened to me earlier today. Someone else try that right now and let me know if that same crap is happening for you. What's going on here? What's going on here? You only type in GameStop? That's so weird. But let's say someone sent you a link. You get especially in an email, right? This is how you look out for it. It's about what the starting part of the link is. So if you see like you get something like Yahoo Finance with a double with like a triple O. That's how you know it's a scam. Like the most important part, and again, this is just generally speaking, I'm not a cybersecurity expert by any means. The most important part is always the start of the link. So be very careful. And when you get a link in an email, you can like hover over it and then see on the bottom left there. I'm pointing as if you guys can see, but you see on the bottom left of the screen it says finance.yahoo.com/quote/GME/history. That's how you have to be. That tells you like what the link is actually going to be. So it might like right. I'm hovering over historical data. You think, oh, it's definitely the historical data, right? It's the same as if it's in an email. You got to look at what that actual link says there. And if I saw like triple O with Yahoo Finance, I'd be like, something's wrong there, right? So be very careful whenever you open links in an email in general. And the same goes with Twitter as well. Like when you get people posting links, like you want to hover over it. And I'm always very, oh, let's see what happened here. What happened here? Someone got kicked out of the game. Oh, man, that's a brutal hit. I bet there's a huge brawl coming up right here. Oh, yeah, I knew something like that was starting. Damn, that really sucks. Damn, that is not good for the Oilers. I bet they let up a goal after that. Sorry, guys, I'm getting distracted. Oh, knee on knee in hockey, guys, is brutal. Oh my God, that was a brutal hit. Sorry, got distracted here, but you guys get the point I'm trying to make here. So a lot of the articles also to get back to what I kind of wanted to get to. I always get distracted, guys. I apologize for being all over the place, but it's how streaming goes sometimes. So Roaring Kitty showing in real time how the algos react to manipulate the market. As soon as he said he was done, right, immediately GameStop stock halted down after 40% after Roaring Kitty ends live stream. And there's been a lot of debate, and then institutional, we'll get to this a little later. I don't have to necessarily get to it today. And again, one more note on the share offering. So part of me thinks the offering will be complete by the end of this week, but there's also another part of me that thinks they'll be patient and not complete it right away to have the opportunity to potentially sell shares at a higher price point. Because who's to say they didn't sell 50 million shares already, and they're like, all right, we're not going to sell the last 25 million until there's another big move up in the stock. Of course, that's never guaranteed, but just food for thought there. So, and shout out White Rabbit 741, Madiga 7 on X. He's grown so much since I started following him. Big time GameStop guy, so be sure to check him out. GameStop briefly touched 39.88 in after hours. Someone wild fills on Webull. That's the craziest thing to me. Like, I don't understand this. Like, you see this on other stocks. It's not just GameStop, but when you see orders getting filled, it's like, how is that happening, right? And is that to screw people over? Because I saw like Dave Lauer put a thing out on it. Did I have that up over here? Oh, what's going on? Yeah, so we'll get to that. So very, very odd, right? And then someone got a screen recording here. Shout out to Bobsy Bear. I'm not familiar with this individual, but they put out a good screen recording. Look at this. They were able to catch it. 47-20. Back down. As if it didn't. Like, how does that happen? Oh, back again. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, oh, oh. Back again. Back again. No, 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 no. Right? Like, how does. Oh, back again. Back again. No, 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 no. Like, how does that happen, right? And I seem to have other stocks too, so that's where I really just look at it. And like when I zoom out, and I just look at the fact of like the stock market is literally just numbers on a screen. It's like the biggest fugazi in the entire world, right? Crazy. It's actually just crazy, and because you see it happen in other stocks too, but like I feel like the other stocks, the orders aren't getting filled. And see, well, it was Yahoo Finance there, but then again, why is GME not coming up on Yahoo Finance? Is anyone else noticing in this? But look, AMC, oh yeah, no problem. Tesla, no problem. Apple, oh, okay, so maybe it's having some kind of bug. See? Gotta take things with a grain of salt, guys. You can't get too crazy over things sometimes. Some kind of glitch going on with the Yahoo Finance. Does anyone else use anything else to look stuff up? Like I use TradingView for charts now, but I feel like Yahoo Finance, it's just what I've used forever, so that's why I keep using it. But I feel like it's so outdated at this point. So if you guys have anything else you recommend, like Google Finance or something, should I try that? I don't know. Just I want to be able to look at like quick information on it, right? Like I'm like, oh, what's the current ratio on GameStop? Current ratio is, and by the way, it's current assets to current liabilities, 2.22. So you always want to see generally that number over 1, because that means they have more current assets than current liabilities. The higher the number, the better off their current assets versus their current liabilities are in the short term. And also another point I want to make, since we're on Yahoo Finance, talk about miscellaneous things here, it's always good to look up other companies. Even if you're just invested in GameStop and you don't want to invest in anything else right now, that's fine. But what I encourage you to do is read about another stock, whether it be Palantir, PayPal, Fortinet, Palo Alto, right? These are some of the other stocks I follow. Always still read and be interested in other stocks because you want to gain perspective. You say, okay, well, what's in this filing that's not in the GameStop filing? Okay, well, how do these numbers compare, right? And not that you're necessarily going to compare them, like you're not going to compare Palo Alto or Fortinet, right? Cybersecurity stocks to GameStop. Like, obviously, they're completely different industries, but just to get perspective and see how other companies report their earnings and just different things like lines on the income statement and the cash flow statement, how it varies company to company. So again, you could be full GME elitist, but I still encourage you to read like financials. I could go on to read right now. Read Nvidia, right? Everybody is talking about it right now. Everyone and their mother talks about AMC. Oh my goodness, stupid, stupid, stupid. Nvidia. So with that, I would encourage you to read it, right? Just to get perspective on it. And again, doesn't mean you have to go in thinking I'm going to invest. And in fact, when you're reading about any company's financials, you should try and go in as unbiased as possible to truly make a determination based upon the numbers and what you're reading, and then make a determination, right? And someone might say, "Oh, well, if you do that with GameStop, things don't look good, right?" I would beg to differ because with GameStop, there's such a unique situation. It's much different than your average company. So it's just a way different situation. And to me, also a big part of things, and you can disagree with this, that's totally fine. But I think, underlying anything that's suspicious underlying, as I do believe there are a lot of crazy things that happen in the market that we have today. Given how, when I learned how it all functions, I'm like, it's really just numbers on a screen. Any nonsense underneath, and this is why I keep saying they have to execute, right? Any nonsense underneath, below the surface, whether it's in swaps, complex derivatives, uh, call options being written and then rolled over and to satisfy FTDs, right? And all these different things. Whatever's underneath, so long as the company succeeds and execute, and GameStop we're talking about here, not NVIDIA, all that nonsense will bubble to the surface at some point or another. And I couldn't tell you when that is. I don't think anybody necessarily could tell you when that is. And I know over the past week or so, a lot of swaps were supposedly expiring. And those were, hard to say exactly the like nominal value of those. But some were saying, I saw someone put a comment somewhere where it's like, if there are small cockroaches, usually you find those first, and then it leads you to bigger ones, right? So maybe that's a little bit of the situation with swaps right now. But again, all just food for thought here. And for me, so long as the company succeeds and drives forward, anything underneath will naturally bubble to the surface over time, and we'll see what happens, right? So that's why I just think they just got to execute and drive forwards, and it'll be easier said than done. That's very true. But yeah, so looking at the halting stuff right here. So we have the limit up, limit down. And I was trying to, funny enough, before I saw this tweet, I was reading into this a little bit, right? So started looking incredibly suspicious. Not only glitches, now their orders going through at this price. Look at the right side of time and sales. And again, we just looked at that a little bit there on another tweet. Sorry, sometimes what I do, guys, throughout the day, when I'm at work or wherever and I see something where I'm like, okay, I'm not streaming today, I'm streaming tomorrow, I'll email myself like tweets and stuff like that, or like something I saw on Reddit or whatever it is, or even like this morning I was reading on these a little bit, right? The limit up, limit down rules to get some clarity. I email it to myself so I can pull it up during the stream. Okay, to remind myself I want to talk about this. So Dave Lauer says there's been a ton of attention on the stock market halts recently for good reason. I'd like to remind everyone that these halts are fully automated based on preset triggers that have been the same for years. Now, there's no commitment or a committee of people deciding when to halt stocks. This morning, both AMC and GME hit limit up, limit down. So he was referencing the other day. And then these are the rules, right? So, and this is also, we can keep going in the thread here because actually we should put this on one side and then this on the other. So what is up, limit down? They established this in 2011, pretty much after the 2008 crash. There was a lot of stocks making dramatic moves during that time period. So they settled with limit up, limit down, basically to kind of slow down the market, right? To protect investors. So went into effect April 8, 2013. So it's been around a long time. So applies to both tier 1 and tier 2 NMS securities, except rights and warrants. So phase, let's see. So tier 1 securities previous close is greater than $3. Price band percentage is 5%. So 5% within a 5-minute period. And then tier 2 securities during market hours. And I believe if I was reading correctly, what qualifies as tier? Applies to tier 1 NMS tiers, S&P 500, Russell 100, select exchange traded products. And then phase 2, again, I briefly read this to you earlier today, guys. I apologize. Tier 2, all other NMS stocks. So specific stocks should be, tier 2, which is 10%. All right, let's read more of Dave's tweet. Again, I apologize, guys. I read it quick this morning. But pretty much it's like a preset amount, right? I was mistaken in a previous stream. I thought it was based on like the average of a stock price movement over the past like X amount of time, like over the past 3 months. But I was actually wrong. It is a just set price band percentage, and I believe it's just 5% over a 5 minute span if it makes a bigger move than that. Or is it 10%? No, it must be 5% from the halts we were seeing during Roaring Kitty's stream, right? Because if we pull that up, go to the 5-day chart, or we could even go to the 1 day. Let's go back to Friday during the day, right? And this is right when it started, so halt right here, gap up, a couple minutes trading, another halt, a couple minutes trading, another halt. Like there were so many halts during another halt right here, but look how suspicious this is, right? To me, it's like I get that it's predetermined, right? And that, let me finish what Dave Lauer said here, and I'll make my counterpoint. On SIP feed, the limit up, limit down bands are broadcast. If you think a halt happened that violated the rule, I don't want to happen or shouldn't, or shouldn't have. You can look at the data and find the trade that violated the rules. I have never seen one. I can't do this. You can't do this through analysis of the data and coming up with your own bands, which I saw someone on Reddit do. That's just not how it works. The bands are automatically calculated based on the rules, and those values are broadcast out to everyone. Everyone's asking about Roaring Kitty's live stream halts. I have not seen anyone show a single trade where it happened at greater than 5% move. It might have felt that way or seen the way, but it wasn't. Every halt happened after a 5% move. Okay, so it's a 5% move, and what is it, a 5 minute period of time? For 5 minutes of trading after open price, if the primary doesn't open within 5 minutes, if the eligible percentage occurred within the prior 5 minutes, okay, so, but obviously the halt's can happen right away, so that's where I don't understand. The opening price of the primary listing exchange or the midpoint of the primary's quote in the evening, in the event the opening auction concludes with no volume, the previous day close will be used in lieu of the midpoint of the primary quote. Okay, so it makes a big move right at the open based on the previous day. Yeah, see, I got to read up on this more, guys. I do apologize. I only did a brief reading on it, so I got to get a little more info on this. But can't do this, or again, I think it really happened at less than. If you think it really happened at less than 5%, all you need to do is show me the data and where the limit up, limit down bands were set at. All this is public data. It's really, really easy to provide evidence, and likely lucrative via whistleblower rewards. I post something on Urban Science and I feel like continue discussion. When we say they halt the stock, we aren't being imprecise. We mean the algo at the designated market maker decided to execute a series of trades to effect a halt as a result of the algo sanctions. That's fine. That's a different claim than the ones that I've seen that claim it was halted after a 5% move. That's what I was going to kind of get at, what Ross Brown said here, where you can have that rule in place, right? And no lesser move than 5% it's happening at. But if suddenly all the asks just disappear, right, in a 5% range, obviously all the bids are gonna get filled up, right? And the bid's gonna rise and then try and meet the next ask up here. So some of the price is gonna go like this, halt. And it's the same way. Okay, all the bids just fall out from underneath. Asks are gonna start getting listed lower and lower. So then suddenly big move down, right? And that's where you see like these big moves, like limit up, and then limit down. Because if suddenly these huge moves happen, or suddenly like the books change very dramatically, that would create a trading halt, right? And for better or worse, that's how it works, right? We've seen it go both ways. We get limit up on the start of the day, we got limit down, because see right here, here's 9:30, the opening candle, 9:31, 9:32. Between 9:32 and 9:37, we're halted to 9:38 to 9:39, and then we're halted from 9:39 to 9:44, and then 9:44, 9:45, 9:46, 9:47. By the way, Eastern, guys, Eastern time for me. So from 9:46 to 9:51, another halt, 9:52, 9:53, 54, then another halt, right? Because it skips from 54 to 59, so there's another halt. 10:01, 10:02, 10:07, another halt right there. So again, I personally believe it's the market makers doing funny things with the order books, like as that individual back there, Ross Brown, said. That's what it seems to be. So again, just food for thought there. Just food for thought. And I have too many. Did you guys see this? I have too many different things open, but Frontier. Good marketing by the airline company. We love animals, especially kittens. Pausing sales at 12 Eastern to watch Roaring Kitty. Just like that beer company, right? Those are good marketing tactics because it's something a lot of people are talking about right now. So, but here's a little more information on it. So I'll just make this bigger screen. Load plan was administered by the Limit Up, Limit Down, the LOLD Operating Committee, comprising a representative from each of the participants. The current participants are CBOE, CBOE, Financial Industry Regulations. It's funny how like 4 of them are all just different aspects of CBOE, which is like Chicago Board of not Education, but something E. Investors, long-term stock exchange, NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, right? The plan and any events are filed and approved by the Securities Exchange Commission according to Section 11A of the Act. Blah blah blah. Calculation of price bands, right? This explains it a lot better. Price bands consisting of lower and upper price band for each NMS stock are calculated by the two SIPs. CTC. This is where we got to do some translating here. So Tier 1 securities and Tier 2 symbols below $3, 9:30 a.m. to 3:35. Tier 2 securities, 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. So the upper band, assume illustration. Okay, this is what we need. Examples. I learn by examples very well. And again, guys, this is a great example of me just learning in real time right now. So I apologize if I'm like, wait, what? Huh? I'm just trying to figure it all out in real time here. So assume that XYZ is a Tier 1 security that has a previous closing price of $25. As such, its percentage parameter would fall within the first bucket, greater than $3, table 1 above, okay? Security XYZ would therefore have upper and lower bands that are 5% greater, 26.25, and lower, 23.75, than that of the previous closing price respectively. The bands would be as follow. So it'd be 26.25 and then 23.75. Operation of price bands. When the national best bid offers above the lower upper price band, the SIPs decimate the national bid offer. Okay, so let's just use some. The offer is below. Is it below? Okay, let's keep reading. We'll circle back here. Trading immediately enters a limit state if the national best offer bid equals but does not cross the lower upper price band. When a limit state occurs, the stop in price, is that what it is? Indicate the national best bid offer of a limit state quotation. Trading exits a limit state if within 15 seconds of entering the limit state, all limit state quotations are executed or canceled in their entirety. The market does not exit a limit state within 15 seconds. The primary listing exchange declares a 5-minute trading pause. The trading pause may be extended for another 5 minutes. Thereafter, all markets may resume trading. If a security is in a trading pause during the last 10 minutes of regular trading hours, the primary listing exchange will not reopen trading. Will attempt to execute a closing transaction using the established closing procedures. Although, one thing I'll think about right now, just as I'm reading this and just trying to figure it out live here, I don't remember a time where GameStop's ever halted into the close. It's just food for thought there, but this sounds like a job for my assistant here, ChatGPT, to break this down. See, this is where I'll do it, guys. Explain in simple terms. And maybe you guys have something to chat. I guess I should check that, right? Or, explain in simple terms. So let's see what we say here. See what we see here. I don't understand why some people are so hyped about AMC. Oh, let's see. Oh man, we gotta catch up. Okay. Tetron. Let's see. Can you warn chat? Yes, I warned it. Tetron, what's your thought on Jackie Latitz? Oh, Keenan, I gotta be honest. We don't get along. Well, not even necessarily that. I didn't even know who the guy was until like a month ago, and then out of nowhere, someone tagged us on a bunch of something, and they were like these people post memes, these people talk about the stock, these people do this, right? And he was like, it was like meme or rants him and canceled his clothing company, right? The four of us together. He's like, you can keep me with Ian, but don't put me with those other two clowns or something like that. Like he just threw shade at me for literally no reason. I had no idea why. So I was like, okay, at least I'm not selling a $300 Discord and not showing my face. And again, I don't care. I have nothing against the guy. You know what I mean? Like he just came at me for no reason. I'm not gonna like go out of my way to like start problems. But when you come at me for no reason, like I'll tell you how I feel. Like, and if he's so good at TA and we're doing what he does and he makes so much money doing it, then I don't understand why you need to charge for Discord. But listen, that's what he wants to do. That's fine, and I get it. That's part of the industry, right? That's something people do. But don't like. There's no reason to come at me. I didn't do anything to him, right? He just threw shade at me for literally no reason, and that's why I'm not too fond of him, honestly. So that's my opinion. But listen, everyone can have their own opinion. I don't care at all. Like I'm not offended if you guys like him. That's totally fine with me, right? And not everyone has to agree to like everybody, right? Like not that's the thing too. It's like people say, "Oh, no fighting," right? You don't have to fight. Like, you can respectfully disagree. I just feel like he disrespected me for literally no reason. So I was kind of like, all right, F you. Like, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, I'm not going to keep, like, going at him or something like that or make this into a big drama, right? Like, I don't care about that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to do what he's going to do. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And all the best to him, right? That's all I can say on it. So that's just me. And again, that he just threw shade at me for no reason. I didn't ask for any trouble. I didn't go out of my way to like say anything bad about him. He just threw shade at me for no reason. I was like, what's this guy's deal, right? Let's see. Runkity's stream was targeted towards the bad actors more than us apes. Agreed. Is GME obligated to report completion of the price offering on the day of, or did they delay specific dates? Oh wait, we got already passed this here. Whoops. I feel like Wall Street is throwing unlimited money in these shorts because if they don't, they're gonna lose way more. Derizzle, it's certainly possible, right? That's a theory. Or Ridizzle. Did I mess up when I bought GME at 46? Mohammed, listen, honestly, if you're in it for the long term, I think you'll be alright. But at the end of the day, you got to make your own decisions. And I don't ever want to say like, oh yeah, this is the best thing to do, or that's not a good thing to do, right? The reality of it is, there's some people that buy higher than where the current price is, and that's just the way she goes sometimes, right? So you got to look at where you're at, do your research, and determine ultimately like what you believe in the long term. If you're a long term investor, if you're a trader, maybe you have a certain price point where you want to exit, right? Whatever the case. So go to his original post and zoom in on the mask. No bullshit. All right, I agree with the original take. Fair enough. Didn't AMC have a terrible annual meeting? They were giving owners more money. I heard they AMC was pretty much like they voted against. I think I saw they voted against the share compensation package, which is like good. Those executives are packing their pockets like crazy. So Roaring Kitty memeing, laughing, opening on live sport. The price drops to 20. I think the only way Roaring Kitty sweats is if he exercises. Honestly, a quest, probably. I don't see how much people are so hyped about AMC. Examples, Mickey's Money here on YouTube. Yeah, 123. Honestly, I don't know. I guess people are going for a trade, but I'll imagine they would report it when it's done. Worked for me. Worked for me also. Oh my gosh, so much to catch up on. I'd imagine. Is there something to be said that Roaring Kitty? I keep it mixed up. RCRK. That Ryan Cohen diluted the same shares that GME investors DRS for 3.5 years ago. What do you read into that? Jellybean, yeah, I've seen some people throw that idea around, but I don't know. It just seems odd that the DRS number's steady. Like, I don't think it's impossible it hasn't moved, but it feels like it should have went up a little bit. And then also, I think plan really isn't pure DRS. If you want to be a pure DRS, you have to terminate plan. Again, I'm not trying to give you advice anyway. I'm just saying there's a difference between having your shares in plan and in book. So I truly encourage you to read up on that because pretty much it says, like, in a nutshell, and again, not trying to give advice, everyone's got to make their own decisions, but in a nutshell, it says that you should, like, if you are in plan in times of high demand, the DTC may borrow them from computer share, but in times of high demand, right, when there's a lot of volume on the stock, and we've seen some reporting dates where suddenly the stock has a lot of volume, and it's like, is it a time of high demand? But that was the heat lamp theory. If anyone remembers that, but yeah, I don't know for sure. So it's possible. But damn, getting burnt out here. And then we're going to go back to this, right? So, because I realize I'm completely getting off topic here. So, key terms: national best bid, the highest price someone is willing to pay for a stock; national best offer, the lowest price someone's willing to pay; price bands, upper and lower limits, we know that; securities information processors, systems that provide real-time quotes and trade information. And the reality of it is, guys, that hedge funds invest like tons of money to make like trades within a millisecond to just take advantage of like any tiny little spread, right? And then when the market makers or sorry, when the spreads are larger on GameStop between like the bid and the ask, right? Like the other day, I saw it was like 9, 10 cents. It was like bouncing all around. Like market makers are like salivating over that, right? Where they're like, oh, like huge margins for us, right? So limit state, a temporary caution where trading is restricted. Straddle state, a condition where the bidder offers outside the set price bands, not both. Simplified explanation. Unexecuted bids and offers. If the highest bid is lower than the lower price limit or the lowest offer is higher than the upper price limit, these are flagged as unexecutable by the system, which triggers the limit. The limit state. If the highest bid hits the upper limit or the lowest offer hits the lower limit, trading enters a limit state. This means no new bids or offers can cross these limits, okay? If within 15 seconds all limit orders are either filled or canceled, trading goes back to normal, which suddenly it doesn't, right? In just the perfect moments. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes. If not, the main exchange pauses trading for 5 minutes. This pause can be extended by another 5 minutes if needing. So I've never seen one extended. That's an interesting point. Maybe that was amended in some way, but I've never seen an extended one past 5 minutes for GameStop in any recent memory, at least. Trading pause near market close. Trading pause happens the last 10 minutes of trading day. The main exchange won't reopen trading. Instead, to go through its closing procedures. Again, haven't seen that with GameStop either. Straddle state, this happens when the bid is below the lower limit or the offer is above the upper limit, but not both. If the trading in this state looks unusual, the exchange might pause trading. See, that seems like open for interpretation. And then also entering the limit state. If the highest bid hits the upper limit or the lowest offer hits the lower limit, trading enters a limit state. So if a bunch of bids or asks are just suddenly taken off the books, obviously that would trigger the limit state, right? So that's what I think is kind of the argument that people are presenting in terms of what's happening during Roar Kitty stream and in certain moments, right? Where it's like suddenly, oh, no more orders on the books, right? Oh, we're limiting up or we're limiting down, right? LULD, LULD. Consulting rules. Different markets have specific rules on these situations or handles, so it's important to check the rules of each market. Example, lowest price band 950, upper 1050. Limited example, if the best offer is exactly 950 and doesn't drop below it, a limit state is triggered. Straddle state example, if the best bid drops to 940, below 950, but the best offer remains above 950, the stock enters a straddle state. Okay. Interesting. If trading in the state looks unusual, they might pause trading. So maybe it's a straddle state that's occurring sometimes. Oh, straddle state, we have to pause trading, right? And New York Stock Exchange, pause it, turn it off, turn it off and back on again, right? It's just like the tech team, especially in like my high school, we would take those like self-certified exams, and I was right at the end of high school, or like right when I got to high school is kind of when laptops became a thing. Where it'd be like, oh, bring the laptop card, or oh, we're taking the whatever like state exam online, and they give everyone a laptop login. Remember, like everyone this one time, everyone's having technical issues. They call them over. Okay, mine's not working. Restart it. Turn on and off again. Yeah, I already did that. Oh, do it one more time. Do it one more time. Turn it on and off again. It's like that's what the market's doing at the same time, right? The exchanges, they're doing the exact same thing. Have you tried turning it on and off again? Turn it off again, on and off again one more time, right? So additional 5,000 calls at $20 strike for 621 have been purchased. Open interest increased to over 150,000. And someone posted before. Obviously, we got the DFE update since then, so it's not him, but it just shows that there's a lot of people on that options, right? So there's still another 20,000 that aren't DFE that are part of that option. So crazy, absolutely crazy times we're living in. And I got to keep Xing things out as I go, because when I don't X things out, that's where I get mixed up. I'm like, where was I here? So yeah, I think interesting insights from Dave on that. I don't agree with necessarily everything he says, but I think he's got some good points sometimes. And then we got a little more speculation here before I do wrap it up for the day. Again, appreciate you guys being here. If you drop a like, always greatly appreciate that. Subscribe, stick around for a while. Why not, right? And anytime you can spend with me, I appreciate it. You want to see a dead body? Rants? I'm scared of that, man. I don't know about that, but GME worked for me also. Thank you. See, I'm so behind in the chat. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just my platform that's bugging out for some reason. Something to be said that Ryan Cohen diluted the shares, or we got to that. Manifest up, down or up tomorrow. Jason, I like what Keenan said. Manifest it up, right? Good vibes, going up. Prob, updating float numbers, stock analysis on GME, 4-to-1 on current ratio. I use Weeble, by the way. Marantz, thank you for that insight. You think Weeble's a little better? Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people do that, right? Maybe I should do Weeble, because I do have an account. I haven't used it in years. Originally, I just did it because it was like, sign up for an account and get 7 stocks free or something like that. And I was like, all right, like free money, why not? So yeah, maybe I should do that more and have it open on the screen. But Ticker S Sentinel 1 looks decent. All right, Hornets, interesting, but not interested, honestly, but wish you the best if you're in it. Let's see, compare Blackbird to GME, quite some interesting. It might probably be same mountains. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, but when you compare them all on a long-term basis, at the end of the day, GameStop does outperform. That's the reality of any of the quote meme stocks. I like to say there's meme stocks and then there's GameStop. I just saw this little homeless kitty, and maybe I'm insane, but I could have sworn when he looked at me in sad eyes, he said GME. Dirty Bird, my friend, thank you so much for being here. Great to see you in the chat again. Hope you're doing well. Like I always say, we're going to see Falcons and Steelers in the Super Bowl this year. You heard it first. Kirk Cousins versus Mr. Unlimited. So stay tuned for that, right? Oh man, what a journey this is, guys. What a journey this is. And we'll get into a little tinfoil as we get towards the end here. But a 2 terabyte GameStop brand SSD drive for the PS5 yesterday. Android, nice. That's the best thing you can do to support the company, right? If you like the company, then you should shop GameStop, right? And even if you're not a gamer, if something like that, right? Where I guess that is implied gaming, right? Because you bought it for the PlayStation 5. But shop GameStop whenever you can. I think that's the best thing you can do, right? And, oh no, I gotta plug this into the chat. The battery's gonna die. The chat's gonna die. Can't let the chat die. Chat. But isn't it funny? You see the high of the day, like looking back at Friday. Isn't it funny how it's always like an exact number? Oh, I thought I froze. It was just my laptop. It's so much easier to have the chat on the side, so it keeps full screen open. But isn't it strange how many times it's the same exact number? Like when we hit a peak, we hit a double top of exactly $80 a couple weeks ago, right? When we were rallying previously. And then when you look at the pre-market at that time, point this out a couple times, but high of $80, right? Exactly twice. It hits that exact number. It's just so odd. It just seems like algos. And people on the outside look at it, people are crazy. Oh, yeah, markets aren't rigged. Like, you don't know better. And I'm like, when you read into how the DTC works and the functionality of things ever since everything went online and digital, it's like, wow, it really is just numbers on a screen. That is the reality of it. Whether people like it or not, it's numbers on a screen. And some people say it's a scam. Some people say it's don't. Other people say it is a scam, but you gotta just play the game, right? Everyone just plays the game. So, but yeah, Dirty Bird. Listen, hey, maybe it's some kind of sign, right? Seeing a roaring kitty on the side of the road. So, pull up Ryan Kitty's Joker meme and zoom into the mask. The year says AMC and 15XXX. So would GME be 5% or 10%? It's 5% based off the move where the previous day. GDSC, brother, I got you. I'll do it really quick, right? Just for you. So, but I want to read this real quick. It's based off the 5% move of previous day's close within a 5-minute time span. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you for that clarification. Friends, I'm late. Time to catch up. It's all good, Anthony. Thanks for being here, brother. Chicago Board Options Exchange. Thank you, Pam. Thank you. That's what CBOE stands for. Chicago Board Options Exchange. Again, appreciate that. So, yeah, Discord. Hello, GME Elitist. Whiskey. What up? What up? It's based off 5% move from where the previous day closed within a 5 minutes time span. Gotcha. So when it opens, but how would that affect it, right? When it makes a big move up earlier? That's what I'm a little confused about, right? Like if the stock is up 40%, how does the previous day's close impact those bands exactly? But I don't know. That's where I have to read. I have to read about it off stream, honestly, because it's very hard. I'm trying to like figure it out exactly right now, like very quickly, and that's a very tough thing to do. This is so funny. 305 people out of like the 500 people I'm following are following Rory Kitty, right? And the only people that probably aren't are probably like big accounts that aren't following me back, right? Anyone that I follow that I know that's in the chat here or just talking about GameStop, it's funny, like how many people follow this guy. Legend, 1.5 million. He's grown so much. I don't think he even had that much until recently when he came back. It's crazy. I wonder if Jamie stock, analysts, investors, streamers debated live would be constructive or destructive. Hint, hint, Tetron times Jackie. Water. Listen, Keenan, honestly, I maybe one day, right? But listen, I think right now we'll just kind of do our own thing, right? And maybe one day, but the guy's full of himself and thinks more important than he actually is. After Run Kitty's stream, he was so sure Keith watches him because he used the words doofus, which he says a lot. That's kind of crazy, Ready Player. I'm not gonna lie, but again, listen. At the end of the day, it's the internet, right? Everyone has their own style. Some people are cocky. Some people are. I'm not gonna like say, oh yeah, like I'm the most humble person ever, but I really do. To me, taking a humble approach and being very genuine and like as accurate and not trying to sell like hopium. That's for me, right? Like, and yes, I'll make memes and I have fun with memes, but you shouldn't take memes, right? Oh, they'll look at market manipulation if you post memes and post your position online, right? Allegedly for Roaring Kitty. So for me, like when I'm posting memes, I'm just having fun. But my approach is just very humble, very simple, like trying to just solve the puzzle, right? So that's just me though. Everyone has their own approach, so that's how it goes. But no person can go down, sold at the same time, so I have no impact later. And now they will have 4 billion in cash. Market cap cannot be less than 10 billion. Jovi, it's certainly possible. Ready Player, I caught that and thought the same. Not gonna lie, Roaring Kitty reminds me of the Batman villain, the Riddler, with these decoder ring games. C12, thanks for being here. Yeah, no, it's so funny how this guy is with the memes. He's a true meme god, honestly, Roaring Kitty. So yeah, listen, I know people are, what is it like? Let's see, a little snip and sketch, but I just don't see how that's AMC. I feel like I got to be honest with you, brother. Like I don't think that's what it is, right? Like I don't see AMC or anything, but I don't know. I just don't think so, brother. I don't think so again. But I just don't like he just to me he's really proven at this point. Like when you look up GME elitist in the dictionary, it's nothing's gonna come up because that's not a real term. But he is the definition of a GME elitist in my opinion. So I just subscribed. I see you only have 1K subs. Let's see a new guy come up. Good luck. You're doing an amazing job, by the way. Lamar, thank you. I really appreciate that. Really, I'm always trying to do my best. Like, all I can do is keep getting better, right? I truly believe, like, I try to really craft my bio very well on X. Took a lot of time to put it together. Building wealth matters. I'm passionate about stocks, economics, Bitcoin, GameStop, and self-improvement. Join me on my journey of continuous learning. And that's what these streams are, just continuous learning. And it's cool because sometimes you guys say stuff in the chat and it makes me learn something. I'm sometimes sharing information with you guys and then you're learning something from that. And there's just a great little thing I'm building up here. We're just bouncing ideas off each other, right? So yeah, and the more and more people that join me along this journey, I'm like, wow, it's crazy how many people like talk about GameStop and follow what's happening with GameStop, right? Like it's truly unique and just an epic journey. And no matter what happens on this journey, oh, Giga Home, I got you. I'm gonna follow you back because I always see you in the chat here. So you're home. And Treehouse Brewing and Place of Welcoming, you always comment on stuff too. You get a follow back. So Treehouse Brewing was the one that posted Roaring Kitty stuff. But what I'm trying to say here is, and I think they're only in Massachusetts. It's the only place they hodl. Second, what's this one? I think this one was Roaring Kitty. Oh, to the moon. But yeah, no matter what happens on this journey, regardless, good, bad, up, down, left, right, circles, I am learning so much along this whole way about investing, market mechanics, human psychology, market psychology, right? All kinds of different things. And I think it's great. I think it's great. And honestly, like the other thing I'm learning is too, in doing this YouTube thing, like you can agree to disagree sometimes. Like some people do things in a certain way. I don't agree with what they do, or some people I follow that I don't necessarily follow them because I agree with every single thing they say. But some things they talk about, right? Like I think, okay, that makes a lot of sense. That's some good insight there, right? Like a controversial character could be like Ian, like cancel this clothing company. I don't agree with everything this guy talks about, necessarily with GameStop or not GameStop, right? But sometimes he puts out some good content about GameStop. Not always, right? Again, that's agree to disagree, and I think that's all right. And that's something I think I'm learning as time goes on and doing this YouTube game slash social media game, whatever you want to call it, right? Sometimes you got to agree to disagree, and it's okay to follow people or follow along or look at what people put out and okay, wow, I really like that. Or other thing, I don't agree with that. And I'm sure you guys feel that way that follow me, right? Not everyone. There's no way you subscribe to me or follow me or watch any of my stuff, right, or anything. It's like, oh yeah, Tetron's spot on about everything. This guy's a genius, right? I'm not. That's not what I'm trying to be, right? And I don't think anybody's perfect, right? The reality of it is everybody makes mistakes, but I think it's about just continuing to improve. And like, I'm trying to be like the corny, like, oh, get on the grind, bro. Keep grinding out here. Like that's not the approach I'm trying to take. It's just like, no, keep getting better. Just keep working and get better, right? And even when I feel like I'm busy, put more time in, do more, right? Just do a little bit more and just keep grinding. So Ryan I keep mixing them up. RK and RC is too confusing. Just say Kitty. Just say Kitty or RC, right? Make it a little easy for me. But just Ryan Code, me too. Ron Kitty's tweet: "You were a billionaire. What if it was a billionaire, meaning he had the cash to exercise the calls?" Dearest Jimmy, it is possible, my friend. I mean, listen, whatever this guy's been doing, that's the thing too. He's clearly been doing something during this hiatus, right? Like before he started posting again, in my opinion, he was trading. Whether he was selling covered calls, he was selling cash secured puts, he was trading Nvidia options, right? Who knows what he was doing throughout these past 3 years? Maybe he was trading SPY calls. I don't know, right? Nobody truly knows at this given point in time, but he must have been doing something to increase his wealth this dramatically. So if you look at just his YOLO positions, right? Like let's see, like his most recent one. Look how large this is. This is so much more, and we talked about this before. Whereas, and it's crazy, 12 minutes in, and already had almost 5,000 outflows. This is absolutely insane, right? But he went from 800,000 shares to 5 million shares of GameStop, which is just incredible. So he had to do something to accumulate all that cash. And then, meanwhile, he also spends, the current value is 81,000 minus 13,000. So he spent about 60,000 on these $20 call options. And then also 30 million in cash on here. So he has to have been doing something this whole time, right? Because this is a massive portfolio. And I do wonder if it's a Roth IRA. If it's a Roth IRA, oh my goodness, that is so good for him, because those of you that aren't familiar, there's traditional IRA, there's a Roth IRA, right? Traditional IRA, you pay taxes on the way out, meaning if you contribute 5,000 to a traditional IRA, then your income's say 100,000, use the base number. Now you subtract that 5,000 off. You only pay income tax on 95,000 because that 5,000 isn't accounted for, and you can invest that money in a traditional IRA. But then when you retire, you take distributions. You take that distribution of funds, and let's say you're retired, right? So you have $0 in income. But then I take a $5,000 distribution. I would be that $5,000 counts as income, but then you add the Social Security and whatever else, and then ideally you're in a lower tax bracket. So that's why some people go with that approach, because you're not earning income anymore. Your income is your IRA distributions. But on the other side of the coin is a Roth IRA, because let's say that same amount, you put $5,000 into a Roth IRA, and your income is $100,000 for the year. You don't subtract that $5,000. You still pay taxes on $100,000 worth of income, but now you have $5,000 in a Roth IRA tax-free, and pretty much that money in there, like you invest in whatever, you grow it a ton, right? Let's say right now, like I'm 23, about to be 24. Let's say I 5x my money, right? That $5,000 goes to $25,000, right? Again, just using random numbers here. That $25,000, okay, I want to take a full distribution of that. It's non-taxable distribution, because when you're of retirement age and eligible to take a distribution, then you can distribute it tax-free because you pay the taxes on the way in. So a lot of people tend to think Roth is better. I do both. I do pre-tax because I want to write off as much taxes as I can right now. I want the least amount of taxes possible, because I want to have as much money right now, right? And maybe that's not the greatest logic, but I also have a lot of Roth, right? And what I did was, actually, I don't think I really said this on here too much, but when GameStop was like going down for a long period of time, right? So at the end of last year, so let's pull up a 1 year, and let's go right here. Okay, so I was buying shares in my traditional IRA throughout 2023, right? Some shares I buy in an IRA, some shares I buy outside of an IRA, and I have shares in my name individually. I have shares in a traditional IRA, I have shares in a Roth IRA, right? And most of my shares that are not in IRAs are pretty much DRS, but my IRAs, you can't DRS an IRA. There's complicated ways you could go about it, right? But I'm not going to go all that route because it's a lot more complicated, right? But what I'm trying to say here is, I was buying shares of the traditional IRA, and like some of them even back here. I think maybe I was even buying, because I forget which accounts I've bought them in, right? I've been buying this whole time, and I've been mixing up like where I've been buying them. But some of the GME shares, right? Let's say I was buying in the 20s, right? The 20s in late 2022, right? Let's say there. And then maybe I had some in the 30s, maybe I had some in the 15s. Let's say my average cost in my traditional IRA was like $24. when the price was down here at the end of 2023, not exactly the end, but I think it was around November, right around in here. And I remember when it dropped initially, like, damn, I should have waited longer. But pretty much around here, like $15, I Roth converted them. So when you do a Roth conversion, you're essentially paying taxes in that moment in time on the current value. So let's say just use simple numbers. I put $240 into my traditional IRA, or sorry, $250 into my traditional IRA. I bought 10 shares of GameStop for $25 a piece, and I get to write off that $250 off of my taxable income. Then I did a Roth conversion when the shares were at 15, those 10 shares. So now I'm paying taxes on 150, and it's going, those shares are going to a post-tax account, and I'm netting like $100 difference, if that makes sense, because I'm writing off 250 in terms of my amount of taxable income, but then I'm adding on 150 because that's the amount of the conversion, and a conversion is a taxable event. I'm going, this is very specific here, but when GameStop, if you buy GameStop in a traditional IRA and the price goes lower, if you do a Roth conversion, you're putting it into a post-tax account. Or the best time to do a Roth conversion, if you so choose to, would be when GameStop's at the lowest price point possible. And again, that's just all food for thought. I want to be perfectly clear. I'm not recommending anything in any which way. You're always going to make your own individual decisions. And if you're having trouble making decisions, find an advisor. There's nothing wrong with that, right? And for me, I think maybe one day, I always say no financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but who knows? Maybe one day Series 7 or whatever you need to potentially do that. Maybe that's something down in my path. I mean, I have a long way to go, guys. I'm knock on wood, right? God bless. I have a long way to go. Hopefully, please. I want to live as long as possible, do as many good things for this world as I can. And listen, I want to say one more thing too, to be clear. I don't mind. I'm not scared to say I want to be rich. I want to be rich in wealth. I want to be rich mentally. I want to be rich physically. I want to be rich spiritually. I want to be rich all around, right? To me, rich and wealth, like it's more, I guess, wealth is the better way to put that, but you can be wealthy beyond just cash and assets, right? So I'm trying to be all around wealthy, and I'm not scared to say I want to earn a lot of money and live very comfortably because one, wouldn't it be nice to have a private jet? And two, there are people around me that I care about very much and who've been with me my whole life, friends, family that I want to give back to. I just want to be in a spot where we're at a nice restaurant, the bill comes, got it, don't worry about it, I'm paying for it. Like that's you know what I'm saying? Like, and like I want it for the right reasons. I really, really do, guys. Like maybe you don't believe me, like this is the guy on the internet, but I just want to be able to be like when the bill comes, like, got it. Here's my card. Done. Don't worry. Oh, you sure? Sure. It's fine. Just buy me a beer sometime in the future. Don't worry. Don't worry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to be able to do that for people I really care about and people have been there for me along this journey, right? So, yeah, I really, that's how I look at it, right? And then that also kind of like motivates me more where I'm like, I want to live a good life with my girlfriend and, have a bunch of kids and all that. So, it's a lot easier if you have a lot more money, right? So I try and think of the other people. Okay, this is not just about me, right? And maybe that sounds crazy, but I don't know. Dirty Bird, my guy. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you so much, man. Like you're so good to me. Thank you so much, man. I really, really appreciate it. So you're the best. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Really. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. So see, oh, Echoes is in the chat. Echoes loves popping in. Echoes can't get enough of me. I'm pretty sure that's Stop NFT and Gaming on X. Also, he's suddenly quiet. He hasn't been commenting on my stuff. Where you been at? Where you been at, Bears? You have nothing to say these past couple weeks? But yeah, the rocket crashed and burned. Nice. Echoes, this journey's far from over, brother. Far from over. $80 must be an absolute nuke for somebody. Liam, that has been theorized, and I see it's possible. Rome wasn't built in a day. It's true, Keenan. Mario Day got shut down right around 320, and then massive drop. That's right around 80 post split. Oh yeah, that around the June time, right? That is a very good point. Seems like something scary is behind that wall, right, baby? We'll see you one day, right? Potentially. Who knows? I don't know. Time will tell. Someone bought 1.2 billion of Bitcoin from a GME investor. Damn. Not sure who did that, but that's interesting. Adventures with Shogun Solo. Interesting. Dude sells disc for 500. With GME names, I think Roaring Kitty is a puzzle pirate and waited 3 years for us to play the game. C12 maybe, but Listen, I just think he's a pure GME elitist. That's just me. 1.2 billion should be easy to find on the blockchain. Sloppy Joe's, yeah, that's the good thing about blockchain transparency. But the thing is, you don't know who's behind the transaction, so that's like the other side of the coin. But have you learned? Have you? You spelled that wrong, by the way. You shouldn't have put that R. Have you ever learned something about cults and echo chambers? You raised from 300 to 500. AMC is not a piece of the puzzle. Agreed. Ryan Cohen put the company before investors by doing early earnings and diluting more stock. Ryan Kitty would have exercised tomorrow if that didn't happen. Completely ranked the run. Sloppy Joe's. I see what you're saying, but at the same time, Ryan Cohen's focus, right, to me, is not about creating like some kind of gamma ramp or squeeze. It really boils down to driving the company in forward and succeeding, right? So I think that's ultimately like his fiduciary. Is that the right word? Dude, that's how you know I gotta wrap it up here. So yo, sorry for being late. JPP, I appreciate you popping in, man. It's all good, brother. Dirty Bird, Ryan, yes sir. Cheers, Dirty Bird. Tetron puts in that work for the stream. Ryan, I'm trying, man. I really am always trying to improve. I genuinely mean that. So I appreciate all you guys so much. Just as somebody was going to bring it down anyway, they just capitalized on the run. Shout out Dirty Bird, yes sir. Bird, bird, bird is a word. Bird, 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 bird is a word. Would have, and like I said, Falcons Steelers in the Super Bowl. That's it. Would have thought MC would rise because of Taylor Swift. Yeah, listen, I mean, there's always you can always trade things, right? You can always trade things, but I think AMC, sure, you could trade it, but I personally wouldn't. But GameStop, I think you could feel a lot better about holding. And again, just my opinion. You don't have to agree. That's when you get that bag, you'll find what you search for. Keenan, yeah, I think you're right, brother. I hope you're right because at the end of the day, I think like luck. I don't know if I how to repeat this exactly right, but someone said to me recently, or I saw it somewhere where it's like you have to like almost manifest luck, and that sounds a little silly, right? But if you don't look, if you don't, I don't have an optimistic approach and think, okay, what are my opportunities? What's going to come my way? It's like okay, this was the analogy. It's coming back to me now. How many red cars did you see today when you guys were driving? You probably don't remember, right? But if I said to you tomorrow, when you go to work and come back, count how many red cars you saw throughout your driving for the day. And you come back to my stream tomorrow night, you're like, oh, I saw like 5 red cars. And you might have saw 5 today too, but you didn't think about it, so you didn't realize it, right? So if you seek something, you will find it. That's kind of the analogy in terms of luck. And obviously it's not that simple, just like, oh, here's some luck. Thank you, right? Like that's not how it works, but if you don't seek, you will not find. So I think that's the point I'm trying to make here. Exactly. Yes, eat fancy in a cheesecake factory. Hey, what was that meme? Oh my god, I was like, it's like a meme of Trump or something. It was like, it wasn't real, I don't think, but it's just funny. It's like cheesecake factory, cold crab cake. Look at this inflation or something like I don't know. He's like, wow, what a menu. Like, oh my god, dude! No matter what you think about the presidential stuff, and like I hate even going to any politics because it's so much just nonsense, and like it just burns your energy even thinking about it. Right? There's so much nonsense going on, just both sides of the aisle. That's what I realized with Congress. I'm like, whether left or right, they all inside trade stocks. Right? That's just the way she goes. But it's just so funny the memes about the presidents, right? Like that one of like I love doing the Trump impression because it's just funny. But then also like the Biden one where it's like, you sold your shares of GME last run up, right? And he's like. Like something like that, right? Oh man, it's just all funny. But can we go out to dinner? A kid? That's a genuine thought process. Nah, you're good, fam. You're good. But be careful. Got a girlfriend. She wouldn't be too happy about that. So, but nah, you're good. I know you're just joking around. You're good. No worries. Why hoard money when we were gonna die 50 years down the road? That's true, Abraham. Sometimes I start worrying about money, and then I realize I'm like, you know what? You only get one life to live, and like I'm going on a trip to Europe this summer. First time ever going. Very exciting. Going to be visiting Croatia. My grandpa was born there, so extra exciting because of that. Going to a wedding there out of pure coincidence. My girlfriend's cousin is marrying someone who is Croatian. Well, she has family that lives there. It's Croatian. She's of Croatian descent, so it worked out perfectly. Like, you want to go? I'm like, we've always wanted to go to Europe, so like, and we talked about it. Like, let's just do it. And it's coming up. I'm like, oh, I spent so much money on it. I'm gonna spend so much money when I'm there, and worrying about that. And then I just realized like, you only have one opportunity, right? So you got to make the most of it because I don't know what the next 10 years looks like, right? Maybe the robots are going to take over. That's why, by the way, guys, when you use ChatGPT, make sure, like, please explain in simple terms. In case the robots take over, be like, hey, you have receipts. I was always respectful to you guys. So you could say that, right? But, oh, man, what a journey. Yeah, so that's what I'm realizing. Like, I can't worry too much. I gotta live it up a little bit, right? And also, I don't know if I've really said this. Sometimes I think about things to say and I forgot to say it, but I don't know if I've told you guys. I have a but technically she's my step great grandma because my grandfather and grandmother both remarried, right? On my dad's side of the family, his parents divorced and remarried. But what's crazy was by the time I was born, they were both already remarried and with who they are today, right? So, having said that, I grew up in a weird way where it's like I was incredibly blessed to have basically like three sets of grandparents because I had my mom's parents, and then I have my dad's dad, and then my dad's mom, and who they were married to. I basically have always looked at them as grandparents because they've literally been in my life since I was born. So I'm lucky enough to have three grandparents. Rest in peace to my grandma. She died a couple years back on my mom's side. Rest in peace to her. She was great. But very lucky where the other five, right, are still alive and well. And what's crazy is when my grandpa remarried, her mother's still alive, and my great grandma is 97 going on 98. So she's technically my step great grandma, but she's still my great grandma, and it's incredible. And when I was talking to her, and this is what really made me feel like I was okay, I did do the right thing about deciding to go to Croatia and travel right now. I was talking to her and I was telling her about it, and she's like, trust me, and it's incredible, guys. She is so there for someone her age. She's so mentally sharp for 97 or 98. It's insane. Like we have full conversations. She's like obviously, she's aging, harder time getting around and stuff like that, but for her age, she's incredibly mentally sharp. Like it's truly incredible like being able to like have a full on conversation with her. Like that's very rare, I think, for someone like literally going on 100 years old. So, I was talking to her, and me and my girlfriend talking to her, and she was like, "You guys are doing the right thing." And I wasn't even saying like, "Oh, I'm having doubts about going." She's like, "Definitely travel while you're young. You never know how much time you have. You never know how busy life is gonna get in the future. So do everything you want to do now." And I was like, "All right, that feels pretty good hearing it from someone who's been around quite a long time and seen a lot of shit and done a lot of stuff, right? And just lived a lot of life." So I was like, "All right, I think I'm doing the right thing about going." So yeah, pretty exciting. Travel fun. Dirty Bird, brother, really, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. I almost want the Falcons to beat the Steelers in the Super Bowl now. I'd be happy for you, man, for real. Those Dirty Birds, man. But when GME moons, I expect a steak with golden flakes on it. I'll invoice you the bill. JPP, I got you, man. I got you. I'm a DoorDasher for you. You're gonna just go to your door. I didn't order steak, and then it's just right here. So golden flakes. How is that possible though, right? How are golden flakes able to be on food? I never understood that. How can you eat gold? It has to be a certain type or something, right? But crazy. And again, Dirty Bird, man, thank you so much. Really, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. I hope it goes back up and puts me in the money by Friday, but it's definitely a long shot now. Stick to crypto. It's due for big run up end of the year. Hey, listen, Soppy Joes, I think Bitcoin is going to do well the next 6 to 12 months, given that we're still in the post halving era. But at the end of the day, I approach Bitcoin the same way I approach GameStop. I just buy and hold. I just buy and hold. I take a long term approach, but that's just me. And that's all right. You can play with crypto. That's fine. Everyone's going to have their own approach. Sounds like you're more of a trader, honestly. And listen, that's totally right. Everyone's got their own cup of tea in the market, right? So, fiduciary duty. You're on it. Thank you. Fiduciary. I put FUD by accident instead of FID. So fiduciary. Got you. Run kitties averaged in around 2150 on GME. We're entering a strong demand zone and support level. What's your prediction for GME the rest of the week? Honestly, I feel like my gut feeling is we're gonna float sideways. It kind of feels like that vibrate. If it's anything like the last year offering, we get the announcement, kind of drops off, and then kind of moves sideways. So my gut feeling is we're gonna move sideways, but I'll be honest, I'm terrible at short-term predictions, and you should not make any trade based on what I'm saying at all. Let me be perfectly clear about that. But my gut feeling is we kind of float in the low 20s throughout the rest of the week. Maybe go down a little bit more. But if the share offering is completed, that would probably flip the script, right? And it would probably go higher. But if it's like last time where it's after hours, right? Because I'll go back here. I haven't been to this chart in a while. And I'll get to more of the tinfoil stuff, I think, next time, guys, because I'm getting pretty burnt out here. I'm going to wrap it up soon. But they announced the pre-market, the share offering in the pre-market last Friday, or sorry, the Friday last time on the 17th. And they announced it in the post-market of the following Friday, the 24th. And this was back in May. So it was only 6 trading days until they completed it. So if it follows a similar pattern, it's like, okay, that's pretty quick. And maybe we'll see a jump after hours Friday and it starts momentum into the following week, right? Who knows? Who truly knows? But I got to be honest, it is a little unfortunate that, given you saw what happening last time, why don't they just maybe wait? And I mean, maybe this goes back to the theory of like Ryan Cohen wanting to protect himself on the board and be like, listen, we're just focused on the better of the company. We're not trying to orchestrate a squeeze in any way, whether it's gamma or short squeeze or with options, anything like that. Like we're just offering shares. How could we have been trying to orchestrate it in any way, right? But maybe they would have been able to get even more per share. Let's say they did the share offering Monday, right? Maybe things would have been different because of all that gamma, like the gamma ramp we were on going into this. But as I'm saying that in real time, I'm literally going to counter myself right here. Maybe Ryan Cohen and the board knew, okay, well, when Roaring Kitty streams, they're going to knock the price down. They're just going to bet against it even more aggressively, right? So we might as well just throw it out there this morning. So that's like the other side of it, right? So at the end of the day, though, what's happened happened, right? You can't go back and change that at any point here, right? So yeah, Friday was truly one of the most interesting days of this saga, I think, and I think if not the most interesting day since early 2021, honestly. Just crazy. I really didn't think Rowan Kitty was going to stream because I just thought he's under too much regulatory scrutiny. There's too much risk for him if he slips up and says something ever so slightly deemed like bad market manipulation. Oh my God, closes E-Trade account, right? And that was so funny to me. I'm sure you guys might have saw my post today. It was so funny to me when he's like, "Don't make me do it, E-Trade. Don't make me do it. I know how to do this." And he goes like inspect element and he removes like the E-Trade logo. Like that. Come on, like who doesn't love that? It's so funny. But yeah, and who's to say, GameStop didn't sell some shares up here, then throughout here. Nobody truly knows, right? We won't know until the share offering's done. And then when the share offering's done, we can average it out, just like I did last time, and determine, like, okay, they sold shares at an average of 2074. And I'm going to try and make this exact same chart, and I'll post on X, so be sure to follow me there at Tetron Invest when they do complete the share offering. So try and make this same chart. We'll kind of look at it by side, compare some volume and stuff like that, and see where they go from there because they're building up the war chest, right? Like they're accumulating a lot of cash, but you can't just earn on cash forever. It's gonna accumulate, inflate away. So, what do they do from here? What do they do from here? That is the magic question. So we'll have to see. But manifest luck with risk. One for me, Abraham. Fair enough. I love GameStop so much. I'm watching you over the Stanley Cup Finals. I know, Ryan. I love hockey so much, but meanwhile, I'm still here. I'm literally missing like the whole game. I gotta check the score real quick. I'm curious, guys. I'm curious. Let's see. Oh, I bet I could just type it on Twitter. Literally everything's on Twitter these days, right? Oilers. Let's see. What's the score right now? Let's see. What's going on? Oh, Bobrovsky. Bobrovsky's insane. He's literally insane. What the heck? They don't have the live score. All right, I don't need BetMGM. Get out of here. I'll just go on the app. It's 1-1 right now. Okay, it's 1-1 in the second. So, Evan Bouchard got slashed against Verhage. Who scored? Ekholm scored. Okay. And then... Damn, Bobrovsky only has 8 saves thus far, so it looks like Flores may be outplaying them, but... And Mikola, so 2 defensemen. Yeah, Bobrovsky only 7 shots faced. Skinner stopped 19. Damn, Stuart Skinner is playing nice, honestly. Yeah, so I'm gonna watch the third. So I'll probably go for another like 15. We'll go another like 20 minutes here. So Edmonton shoot the puck. So many missed opportunities. I love hockey Twitter too. It's so entertaining. So, oh man, what a journey, guys. W Trump impression. Thank you, Keenan. I'm glad you guys like it. Wow, GameStop. I said, wow, what a stock. Maybe the greatest stock. I've never seen anything like it. I can only do it for like a couple seconds. If I try and plan it too much, it doesn't work well, right? But I don't know, it's just so funny. They just have to do the hand like Shane Gillis. That guy does the best impression, right? Like I think he does a great impression, and that's where I learned how to do it from him. He's like, you just got to do the hand movement slightly off, and he says like, "Wow, what a room!" I walked in, I said, "Wow, what a big room." GameStop, many institutional positions. We got some whales out there. Let me tell you, folks, big positions, lots of short selling. Regarding Bitcoin on GME balance sheet, I'd be okay with a little, although I'm a Bitcoin believer. I want GME to invest in revenue producing operations that provide real value for shareholders. JPP, yeah, I totally respect that. I think that's totally a respectable opinion. And I'm in the same boat as you where I'm a Bitcoin holder. I believe in Bitcoin in the long term as an emerging alternative asset. However, I see the perspective where it's like it probably makes the most sense for them to not to accumulate shares, right? Or accumulate Bitcoin on the balance sheet. But at the same time, if it's a small amount, I'd be okay with it. But the thing is, I feel like a lot of people wouldn't, right? And let's check the poll on my page that I'm running. And again, I posted this poll just to get perspective. I try to throw polls out there, see what different people are thinking over time. So let's see. I said, how would you feel if they added Bitcoin? Most said just I would say a decent mix between a little bit more happy than sad. A lot of people seem to not care, so I see results. So it's just an interesting thought, right? Maybe even gold, but I don't know. I don't think gold is that exciting, right? Like, yeah, sure, it's going to hold its value pretty decent, but at that point, I guess you might as well just do marketable securities in a high interest rate environment. But so be careful, guys, when you are looking at these filings. Look, like this is he proving Bull's just posting this. I don't think he's trying to present anything in particular, but just remember, like, look at the last filing date. That's very important. A lot of these are the end of September, September 2023. Some of them are even look. Okay, well, this is December 2023. This one's December 2022. Those are very old filing dates, right? And there's no update. So, and then wow, actually, funny enough, I didn't realize that Ryan Cohen bought in last year on the 9th. So we're about 1 year from his last purchase. Would you look at that? So maybe he's going to buy more soon. Maybe. I mean, that'd be pretty interesting for him to. I don't think he can buy shares though while they're doing a share offering. So yeah, I'm pretty sure you'd have to complete the offering before he buys shares. But that would certainly be an interesting development if shortly after we see him, Larry Chang pick up some shares. And Larry Chang got a great entry. I'm pretty sure his last buy, like if you look at GameStop's filings, pretty sure his most recent buy, like his last Form 4, I think it's in April. I think this is him. No, this is Daniel Moore's shares vesting. Lucky for him, though. A lot of them, or was this the ones he sold a little bit of? Yeah, acquired. Lucky for him, he got them at 10.20, so much lower, like right before this run up started. But where did Larry Chang buy shares? This is Mark Robinson. Was it May 7th? No. I think Larry's was earlier in April, actually. I was just looking before. I think this is him. No. Larry. Larry! Where are you, Larry? Here he is. Okay. So he was buying shares in the low 11s, so that's panned out very nice for him, right? And he's bought the whole way down. So you'd have to think if it drops more, he's going to buy more, right? But at the same time, when you look at Larry Chang's share position versus Ryan Cohen's, there's a significant difference, right? So after his most recent purchases, he's at 65,088 shares, whereas Ryan Cohen, as we can see here, is at 36.8 million shares, right? So there's a huge difference. And I haven't seen Neer Patel sell any shares, which is pretty interesting considering he's not with the company anymore and he has 1 million shares. And then you also have what other insiders on here? Alan Adel, or sorry, Adel Allen. Yeah. No, it is Alan Adel. It's just because it's last name, first name on here. My bad. Alan Adel has 562,000. So, and Alan Adel worked very closely with Ryan Cohen at Chewy, if you're not familiar with that. So I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, that he got a pretty large payday from the Chewy being acquired by. Oh, my brain is starting to break. What is it? PetSmart? I could be wrong, but by Petco. I don't know, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So pretty sure got a huge payday on that. So, and that's how I know it's when my brain just stops working. That's what I know. Like it's like my internal timer start to wrap up the stream soon. But also, just like Ryan Cohen has RC Ventures to hold his positions, Chang Capital is Larry Chang's LLC, right? And those of you who aren't familiar, if you have a single member LLC, it's called a pass-through entity, meaning if Chang Capital LLC doesn't have anybody employed for them, he's the only person that owns it. He has no employees. He doesn't have to file separate taxes for Chang Capital LLC. He can just file it with his own personal taxes, and it's something called a pass-through entity. Because when you're the only owner and you don't employ anyone, then you have the ability to just file it with your own taxes. And with that, you have like an LLC still, so you have the same protections of an LLC, but you get to but still file with your regular taxes. You don't have to do anything complex, right? But when you have employees or you have multiple people that own the LLC, that's where it gets more complicated and you have separate tax filings, right? And it's the same with RC Ventures, because remember that one interview Ryan Cohen did with Toast, the former GME DD guy, um, which by the way, they're like, oh, Playboy. And now they're like walking that back slowly, right? They're like, yeah, no, GME DD, that's our name. That's what we've always been about. Totally never started talking about anything else, right? At the end of the day, listen, everyone's going to do what they want to do, right? That's the approach they want to take, so be it. But Toast did interview Ryan Cohen, and Pritchard talked about like RC Ventures very briefly, and he said, you're looking at the whole team. Ryan Cohen's words were, again, paraphrasing here, were along the lines of, you're looking at the whole RC Ventures team right here, and that's because it's probably just a single member LLC, right? Single member entity, just as, again, a pass through entity, just for holding his shares. And in case someone wants to try and come after him, he still has the LLC protections, right? And obviously, depending on the situation, they can still come after him as an individual, but especially, given that they're allegedly looking into Roaring Kitty, right? But thought as I'm having as I'm saying this about Roaring Kitty, if he did in fact, right, have like he was definitely being looked at by the SEC and the Massachusetts top regulator or whatever, looking into whatever. His memes are always timed too, 12:30. Interesting. I mean, not the time necessarily makes sense, but I think he pre-schedules them. That's why they go out at an exact time frame. Right? Like this is 8. This one was 8:02, so I guess not necessarily. But what was I gonna say? Oh, so he was supposedly being looked into by the SEC, by the Massachusetts regulator, but then he did a live stream. So it's like, were those reports even true? Because it was sources familiar with the matter, right? You know how many times that sources familiar with the matter turns out to be nobody, right? Or who are these sources, right? These sources don't have names, they don't have any identification, right? Crazy. And also, side note, remember it's this dude Greg. I'm sure you guys have seen him, right? Greg 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 blah 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 blah. He had a space the other day, and this is so funny, yo. This always makes me laugh. I'll look at that in a second. But he had a space the other day. It was like not leaving, nobody talk until and I'm so curious, is this what this guy actually looks like? Or do you just take a random picture? I feel like I guess it is, right? Total meme god. But he did a space the other day and it's like nobody talk until Roaring Kitty joins. It's like obviously Roaring Kitty wasn't gonna join. So obviously Roaring Kitty wasn't gonna join because he did it a while back with Mr. Beast, and Mr. Beast just came in and was like, "You're" or something like that. And then that was it. But obviously Roaring Kitty wasn't gonna join, so that didn't work out for him. But oh man, crazy world. What a world. So much going on. I can't believe it's 10 o'clock already. 10 o'clock by me. Time flies when you're rocking and rolling. But never in their worst nightmare scenario did they think retail would still be here after 3 years. I thought originally, I don't think anyone really thought this would kind of play out the way it did when everything started in January 2021. And that's where I think they created these bullet swaps to be years down the line. Where it's like, GameStop will be long gone at that point. No one will be talking about it. It won't matter anymore. Think about that. How do you prepare for something that has never happened before? Something that wasn't even part of the universe before. Once they made the swaps and no one was publicly asked for any further questions post congressional hearing, they probably assumed they were home free. Crisis averted, back to business. Retail will gradually disappear, as always. Daily, they see how easily they can manipulate retail, blast them with positive sentiment on the stock. They buy, blast them with negative sentiment on the stock. They immediately scatter like roaches. This was just part of the system. It was baked into the recipe. Simple as that. It's super easy to make money when you have a bunch of ignorant fucks lingering in your casino, half paying attention, who have zero clue how the game works and no place to easily and conveniently access the rules. Never did they ever think in a million lifetimes that retail investors would begin to educate themselves. That's the coolest part to me about this whole journey. And shout out to OK_Island_1306. To me, that's the coolest part of the journey. Good night. Um, the coolest part of the journey to me is that so many different people learning throughout this journey and just becoming educated on stock markets as a whole and individual stocks. And I think a lot of people who invested in GameStop never were invested in the markets prior to this. Not necessarily everyone, and for myself, I was doing a lot of different trading. But for me, it made me realize the concept of buying and holding a company you really like. And I would say GameStop really helped me evolve. Call me a Pokemon because I evolved. I pretty much went from being a trader to more so an investor. That's not to say I'll do a trade here and there, like I'm deciding to sell a couple puts here and there now, just something I'm dabbling in again as I'm getting back into, I would say, little bits of trading, but really helped me evolve to become from a primary trader to a primary buy and holder. And whether it's Bitcoin, GameStop, S&P 500, cybersecurity stocks, right? Like I own a little bit of cybersecurity stocks, a little bit of Palo Alto, a little bit of Fortnite. And again, please don't blindly follow what I do. I'm just making my own individual decisions. You have to do the same, right? But GameStop, I can truly tell you guys, is my biggest position. And again, don't blindly follow me on that either. You got to make your own determinations. But for me, I take the approach of buy and hodl, buy and hodl. And that's just me. And I'll dabble with little trades here and there, but GameStop really helped me evolve and realize the meaning of what it actually is to invest versus trade. There's investors, there's traders. Some do both. Right now, I'm pretty much, I would say, just an investor, but I'm dabbling a little bit in trading, right? But I've really grasped the concept now of never more than I could afford to lose and just budgeting. And also, when I first was involved in GameStop, you guys have to realize too, I was literally just in college. Those of you that don't know, I worked full time throughout college, right? Where I was working at Marshalls. I worked my way up to become an assistant manager. I got there. I'm like, this sucks. It's the time of the pandemic. Nobody wants to work. We have no employees. I grinded all this way. I'm making good money, but like this sucks. So I quit. I worked at a gyro place, which was good. My boss was such a cool guy. It was such a good vibe. My favorite part was if you work over 5 hours, you got a free meal. I was always having a free gyros. It was slapping so good. It's just a local place in town, right? And I would just load it up. Oh man, like I love gyros. They're so good. So, oh my god, I need water. I'm running. Oh, I forgot. I took my water break before. I chugged it all. There's none left. But gonna wrap up here soon. But pretty much, I worked at Marshalls, made a lot of my money, and pretty much paid for most of my school with that. So that's why I was really working a lot. But got to the point because also everything going online when I was in college, like most of my college was online, and I took advantage. I took summer classes, I took winter classes when I could, and it got to a point where I had 1 year left, and I was going to do 3 classes in the fall, 3 classes in the spring, and then work full time, right? Because those were like the hardest classes I had left. So I was like, all right, I'm working full time, so I can't take as many classes, and everything went back from online to being in person, and I was like, okay, I got to go in. And then my job was just sucky so bad. I was so miserable at Marshalls, and I was like, all right, that's it. I'm taking a chance. I'm quitting Marshalls. People have thought that knew me that worked there, and the other manager's like, "You're crazy. You worked your way up all the way to this just to leave now after not even doing the management role for 6 months." But prior to that, I was still making good money, like on the way up. I mean, not, good money for the college student, right? And I said, "No, screw this. This sucks." So in what was it? Oh my gosh, time flies. Yeah, in September 2021, that's when I did my finals. Wow, it's crazy. That much time has passed now. It's 2024. It feels like I just graduated like last year still. But 2021, that semester, I was supposed to graduate in the summer of 2022, but I was like, no, I'm quitting Marshalls. I'm working part time at this gyro place. The vibes are good. I mean, that I found that after I quit, right? Because I was like, all right, I'm gonna do something on the side. I still want a little bit of income, and obviously it was way less than Marshalls. It was just kind of like it was pretty much just minimum wage, but I was okay with that because it was chill and it was just a little something on the side, and the food was good, right? I was getting free gyros. Every college student is starving, right? So I was like, free gyros, hell yeah. So then I just took all 6 classes, and that was a grind, right? So like I was only working like maybe 15, 20 hours a week because I was grinding on 6 classes. So then I finished that, and then I finished school in December 2021, so I was able to finish 1 semester early. I was first of my friends to finish college. It was a great feeling, and I was lucky enough to find a job like right when I graduated. So, and that's where I've been ever since. And it's been 2.5 years now. They treat me pretty well there, and it's good vibes. I don't know. I don't want to necessarily say in here where my career is going next. God forbid it's one of my jobs sees it or something. But reality of it is I probably won't be here forever. I'll start looking for something at some point or another. But at the same time, I'm good where I'm at right now. So yeah, that's my story a little bit. But it's been a crazy ride, and so it's crazy to think I literally started this channel when I was still like ending college. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, see, The acquisition of knowledge is precisely what would give each of us the courage to stand up and protest individually using our own hard-earned money. And again, shout out to OK Island 1306. I like their opinion here. Again, it's not me. Any opinion I share doesn't mean it's necessarily mine, right? I'm just saying it because I think it's an interesting point. F you. I won't do what you tell me. That was unthinkable 4 years ago. It's true. Admittedly, I was a late bloomer in life. There were many years of dead end jobs and generally apathy towards work, life, and frustration with the system. I had virtually nothing saved when I first learned about GME. I never owned a stock, and I'm in my early 40s. Here I am up 3:30 a.m. in SoCal to watch free market. They've created a fucking monster. I'm a proud owner of 2,500 plus deer stonks. Damn. I'm still far too smooth brain to know where the setting, but I'm smart enough to keep hitting the buy button and de-risking no matter what. So see, another great point here is, to me, journey has made a lot of people more frugal. I know, especially for myself, I'm like, oh, I want to accumulate more money to invest and save and earn high interest income, right, on a high yield savings right now. By the way, if you guys don't have Marcus or Ally, I'm not recommending a specific bank, but you should seriously look into high yield savings accounts because they exist these days, given the high interest environment. And if you're going to have an emergency fund anyway, right, let's say you have just $2,000, using a random number, $2,000 in emergency funds, then you might as well have it in a high yield savings, right? Earning you 5%. It's not, going to totally change your life, but you might as well because you are able to. And if you're not aware, Marcus, Ally, Capital One Online Bank, those are all FDIC insured banks. So they are, legally protected in the event of some kind of bankruptcy. So just food for thought there. But just becoming more and more frugal, that's definitely something I've learned over all these years. And I think that's a lot of lessons different people have learned over this time. So crazy. What a journey. What a ride. Oh man. Gotta wrap it up soon. But yeah, I appreciate you guys being here so much for real. Let's see. Regarding Bitcoin, so you don't think any of the Roaring Kitty GameStop pipe will cause a run up? Listen, it could, but the reality of it is, I think when you look at what happened with his stream, like it kind of showed that he individually is not making one thing happen or another, because during the stream you would have thought, oh, Ron Kitty's streaming first time in 3 years, it should be going up a ton, right? That was the expectation. And I saw people saying, like the big finance accounts the day before, oh, it's a buy the hype, sell the news type of event. So sell right before his stream tomorrow, and it'll ride in the morning, right? You don't know. You just don't know in the short term. That's the reality of it. So I don't think Ryan Kitty would have returned if the stage wasn't set already. Let's see what unfolds. That's a very good point, Ryan. Why would he return now? Why would GameStop raise cash now? Those are kind of the questions I have. Like, what's coming? And, again, maybe Ryan Kitty's a time traveler, man. Maybe he's a time traveler. I don't know. Ryan Kitty is truly diamond hands. Jeez. Dirty Bird, not only does man have diamond hands, he has diamond balls, honestly. Like, I really think so. Like, it's crazy. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this open. Roaring Kitty is a PSA 10. I agree. What now? I tell what now. Christopher Bait. I don't know, brother. Nobody. You don't know what's gonna. I truly don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. I don't think anybody does. I think you got to just make your own determination. We going to get medieval hedge. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nobody busts the hedges better than a retail. It's true. I mean, that's the craziest part about this whole story. Just a bunch of individual people liking a stock. It's like, no. And the best is the CNBC meme. I encourage you guys to watch this if you didn't see it on my profile. Listen to what the host says. He basically says right here that, let me show you. Oh, I added it to my highlights, right? And cheers, everyone. That's what I thought of when I put this over the weekend. Andrew left on CNBC talking about Roaring Kitty's GameStop live stream. Seems to say he's not a happy camper right now. It's so funny, this zoomed in shot I got. It's hilarious. But I encourage you to listen to this clip, because what the host is basically saying, the guy that's outside of the frame now, is basically what I said right here. And is it just me, or did the host basically imply that it's okay for institutions to drive market in one direction or another because it's just how it is? But in other segments, they accuse Roaring Kitty of market manipulation for simply talking about a stocks he likes. Because they're saying, oh, well, it's, when we talk about things, it's supposed to move things one way or another. Or analysts talk about things, it's supposed to impact how stocks move. Not a guy talking about it on the internet. But then on the other side of the token, they're like, he's manipulating markets by talking about a stock he likes, but he's just posting memes and in his position illegal, right? Like, it's crazy. It's just a crazy world we live in, right? True loves, yes. We're getting excess options and all hell really moves. No amount of crack will save them now. It's over. Yeah, well, we'll see if that happens. We will see. Bitcoin and Ethereum currently tanking. Yeah, listen, I mean, that's the nature of crypto, right? It's going to be volatile. Kitty playing the fools like a fiddle. I agree, Ed Teach. I agree. Thank you for being here. Prepare to be disappointed. 1256-8488. Sure, you can say whatever you want. I mean, you can think whatever you want. You're totally entitled to that opinion. That's perfectly fine. But as someone who's been here a long time, I'm just riding the waves. I think this journey is so far from over. Sure, I could be disappointed in the short term, and I'm all right with that. But I think in the long term, it's gonna be all right. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm just a guy on the internet, right? Always make your own determinations and decisions. No, bro, prepare for infinity. Prepare for wrecking ball. Christopher, I'm prepared for anything and everything, and I advise everyone to do the same. Buckled up. A Pokemon would you be then? Um, I don't know, JPP. That's a good question, man. I got to get back to you on that. Let me think. I don't know why, but I always loved Squirtle when I was a kid, so I'll say Squirtle. I'm going Blastoise. So I'll say Squirtle just because of that. Has to be GME. Don't forget Caspa KS Digital Silver. Okay, interesting. Cas, my biggest bag. I'm not familiar with that. I'd have to check that out. So thanks for throwing it out there. I'm not too sure. AMC, GME, Bitcoin, Cas. Listen, for me personally, just GME and Bitcoin, brother. But that's just me. AMC is digital poo. Dearest GME's words, not mine. Dearest GME's words, not mine. But last I was worked at Greek Joint, still calls it Giro. Tetron is Yarrow. Oh, worked at a Greek joint, still calls it gyro, and Tetron's a euro. Ah, I appreciate that, man. But yeah, my bad. That's I was say my Caucasianness really coming out there. But I don't know. I said gyro. The guy that owned it never said anything, right? I thought he would, right? But yeah, it's funny. People have said it to me before. Somehow it just stuck with me, man. It's just stuck with me. I don't know. So whoops. But you're probably right. Euro. Don't forget to attack. Jeffy, bro, this guy, yo. All right, I appreciate you popping in, man. Just because you popped in, make sure you drop a like, and I got you, because I know you're talking about Clash of Clans, bro. This guy, that's funny. Frankie, what up? What up? Euro. But all right, so a couple other points here, and then we are gonna wrap it up. I'm actually gonna wrap it up now. So I wonder if this is Roaring Kitty figured out about GME because of the 2023 decree related to Archegos bust. UBS now has a strict cap versus exposure to single common parties. What does that mean? It means that if Credit Suisse, now part of UBS, truly allowed its clients to extend the equity swaps and other derivatives they were using to short the stock, then they aren't in a position to roll those forwards anymore for the full size. Considering it is nearly impossible to roll such a toxic exposure with another bank, if it's all the above is correct, the big losses of the first GME squeeze in 2021, assuming they were hidden in the Credit Suisse belly, are forced to surface, and this time hedge funds and market makers will be forced to cover their shorts. Again, this is just speculative here, and this guy is saying why GME and is not a David versus Goliath story, but a Godzilla versus Kong. FINMA also decreed date 14 July 2023, announcing the conclusion of its enforcement proceeding, finding that Credit Suisse had seriously violated financial market law in connection with its business relationship with Archegos and ordering remedial measures directed at Credit Suisse AG and UBS Group AG as a legal successor to Credit Suisse AG. So those of you who aren't familiar, Archegos, pretty much Credit Suisse got left stuck holding the bag when their whole position blew up because pretty much Archegos was borrowing money from everyone and they were using like the same collateral for all of them. And then suddenly when things started to go bad, they started getting margin called because it's okay, well, you need to put up more collateral because you have so much borrowed from us. And the banks suddenly realized, okay, wait, we haven't been able to see this because it's a family office, right? And the reporting requirements are different and more low key, right? That wasn't as known. And say, hey, wait, they're using the same collateral for all of us. Charles Schwab, Chase, um, Goldman Sachs, right? And Credit Suisse was the last one to try and like they all ran for the door at the same time, and Credit Suisse got stuck holding the bag. And already their financials weren't in good positions or weren't very good prior to that. So then on top of that, that really hurt them, and then it dragged out a while. It's like, what's going to happen to them? They're going to go under, and ultimately, these two are both Swiss banks, UBS and Credit Suisse. And you know what happened? The Swiss government, UBS didn't want to acquire Credit Suisse. They didn't have a choice. They basically, it was basically, you know, I'll say this with I don't want to say take it with a grain of salt, but it's essentially what happened where there was a forced merger. It was forced for UBS to take on Credit Suisse. UBS didn't want that. They had to. They literally had to because it's so ginormous and such a part of the Swiss economy. The Swiss economy would have been an absolute shambles. So that's a little bit of what happened there and why people talk about the bag being tossed from Archegos to Credit Suisse to UBS, right? That's where that base theory comes from. These include a requirement that UBS Group AG apply its restrictions on its own positions relating to individual clients through the financial group. And also remember, there's different arms of UBS. There's the UBS Financial Group, UBS Brokerage, UBS this, that, right? And It's a whole convoluted mess of different names, as well as adjustments to the compensation system of the entire financial group to provide for bonus allocation criteria that take into account risk appetite. FINMA also announced it has opened enforcement proceedings against a former Credit Suisse manager in connection with this matter. Interesting. Civil actions related to Credit Suisse's relationship with Archegos have been filed against Credit Suisse and/or certain officers or directors, including claims for breaches of fiduciary duty. So, it doesn't truly clarify this theory that this person has right here, but it is interesting. So I thought I'd just share it real quick. And then the last thing I'll end on, Kansas City Shuffle. If you're not sure what that means, because a lot of people have been throwing it out there, but basically it's like just a lot of deception. So it's like person one, this is this person's theory, right? But this is kind of explaining what it is. So right here, person one is everyone on the side of GameStop, mainly Roaring Kitty and Ryan Cohen. Person two is a market manipulator, including the DTC. Again, this is just shout out user Starhammer4billion. I love these Reddit usernames. They always make me laugh. They're always so unique. Scheme one is Roaring Kitty. It's like two people trying to pull schemes on each other, but one person is like getting you to look one way when they're actually the scheme is this way, if that makes sense, so to speak. Scheming the schemer, kind of. Scheme one is Roaring Kitty doing a live stream during which he does something that fucks over shorts, or so they think. Person two guards against scheme one by illegally halting the stock. Scheme two is Ryan Cohen and GameStop pulling out the shares from DTC because the DTCC did market manipulation. Because there is, fine print that basically says every stock is pretty much part of the DTC, the Depository Trust Clearing Corporation. But if a company can prove that foul play is taking place with their shares, they reserve the right to withdraw the shares from the DTCC. And that's some of the theories out there. And also, when you do a DRS transfer, you are withdrawing your shares from the Depository Trust Clearing Corporation, and you are doing a non-ACAT transfer. DTCC owns DTC, or vice versa, and then that owns the OCC, which is Options Clearing Corporation, and National Securities. They basically have a bunch of things underneath, but basically they operate the ACAT system, which means if I want to transfer shares from Schwab to Fidelity, I go to Schwab, tell them, hey, I have shares in Fidelity. Can you pull them for me? They go pull them. They do it as an ACAT transfer. Every broker has an ACAT control number. When you go to Fidelity and you say, I want to send my shares to ComputerShare, that's a non-ACAT transfer because they're withdrawing them from the DTC. But when you have them in plan, they're technically still able to be loaned back to the DTC in times of high demand. So, again, all just food for thought there. This is just one man Starhammer4 tinfoil hat, right? And should be taken with a grain of salt. So again, guys, if you don't already, drop a follow on X at TetraInvest. Keep up with me when I'm streaming. I'm gonna be running another stream tomorrow night, by the way, 7:30 Eastern time. I try and post every week at the start of the week when I intend to stream. I'm gonna try and maybe run one Thursday as well. Again, I mentioned before, I got some stuff I gotta be around for later this week, so maybe one more later in the week, but you at least got me tomorrow night. So 7:30 Eastern tomorrow night. Drop a like, subscribe. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you all for being here. Again, while you're watching live, watching it back in any way, I appreciate you all so much. Let the chat one more time. So bring it on. Euro. Someone a few weeks ago referred to Roy Kitty as some guy sitting in his basement. He probably has more money than most of these guys combined. That's how disrespectful they are towards the average guy. Pam, that's facts, man. Or gal, sorry, but yeah, no, that is, I agree 100% because how did he get all that money? You think by just being a bozo? No, and listen, they hate him because they ain't him. I think that's the reality of it. So it's for blessing us with the knowledge. Keenan, I'm always trying my best, man. Really, for real. I'm always trying to improve. And the reality of it is I'll make some mistakes sometimes. So please, I encourage all of you, fact check everything I'm saying or anything I'm saying. Like, I don't quite understand that. Try and look it up and learn further because I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I'm human. I'm like everyone else. So been hitting the buy button for GME for the last couple of weeks, and I have a few hundred. Got 260K of AMC, averaging out at 38 cents. That I've been hoarding since early 2021. Half a Bitcoin and just over 3 million in cash. Interesting, Christopher, because I don't know how you could have 38 cents of AMC given that it's down like 95% over the last 5 years. So, I'm not gonna lie, brother, that sounds a little sus, but whatever you say. Some baklava. Oh my god. Oh, baklava. Baklava. See, I'm fake former employee. No, I'm just kidding. But no, that stuff was good. I never tried it before there. And then the boss was like, here, try one time. Like, he's here, try it. I'm like, okay. So good. Baklava is so good. Yeah. And I never would have had it if I didn't work there. So, or bastard. Yeah, exactly. Expensive. No, yeah, I don't think how you could have it for 35 cents. Options tomorrow, what do they look like? MCon, very high volatility. I can tell you that. Very high IV and very volatile. And damn, the Oilers, game and Panthers better go to OT because I missed the first two periods. So I want to catch some more hockey, right? You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm not going to stay up all night. So whatever. I'm going to catch the third right here and wind down for the night. Scheme the seamer, W touch run. Hey, Keenan, that's just what the Kansas City Shuffle is, right? And it's just all speculation. So just keep that in mind. But anyone see a wall of puts if Jimmy runs someone buying on the downside? It's possible, Coffee Donuts and Homer, because think about it. Richard Newton brought up a good point in one of his videos where it's like, when the stock goes up a lot, there's a lot of people that flood in and buy puts, short it, whatever the case, start betting against it. When the stock goes down a lot, there's a lot of people that flood in and start buying calls and shares, right? So that's why I think part of why we see these large moves both ways. Obviously, there's greater powers at play in terms of like market makers, market mechanics, but just food for thought there. And again, anything that can go up super fast, it can come down just as quick, right? And we've seen that time and time again with GameStop, where it makes huge moves very quickly, and it comes back down just as quick, and then it goes up just as fast, and then back down just as fast. So just keep that in mind, guys. Just keep that in mind. What goes up must come down, and what goes down must go up. Obviously, not that black and white and that plain and simple, but just know. I guess I should say what can go up very fast can come down just as quick. What can go down very quick come back up just as fast. That's the better way to put it. There we go. All shares of GME names need to lock up your shares with GTC. So order it's like 150. Surfer boy. Listen, for me, just GME, brother, just me. That's all me. But cheers, everyone. Have a good night. I do got to wrap it up. At least the Dearest argument's over. Dearest 7 million shares. We're going to code 7 million shares. Listen, at the end of the day, everyone's got to do what they want. In terms of holding your shares, I think you got to make your own individual decisions. I personally choose to DRS a good chunk of my shares. Not all of them. And again, most of the ones I don't are in IRAs, but I have a pretty significant amount in the IRAs. So, again, make your own individual decisions. I think that's one of the most important things you can ever do, whether it's with the GameStop saga or any stock or anything in general. Think for yourself. Individual thinking is so, so important. So I hope to break even. Hey, Adrian, if you're trading, I hope you do too, brother. For me, I'm long term. I just dollar cost average, buy and hold. So I've been here a long time. Just keep riding the waves. So provides locates for the shorts. Exactly. No, yeah. I mean, see what you're saying, Coffee Doing Silver. DRS also drained liquidity after 2022. See, that is the counter argument, Coffee. That is a very valid point where it's like liquidity was less, and I thought that was a good thing for a while, but then also like it was going down for so long. So yeah, we could talk about that a little bit more next time because it is an interesting conversation for sure. But then at the end of the day, that's also where I just think like, listen, some people believe in DRS, some don't, and that's all right. Everyone's got to make their own decisions, right? Not everyone's going to agree on everything. So it's the way she goes. DRS created the liquidity of the stock. That liquidity created a situation where a small purchase of options caused a large gamma run. Also a good point, DRS Jimmy. Also a very good point right there. So again, there's definitely points made on both sides. And for me, I chose to have a decent amount DRS, pure book, pure DRS, which is book, no plan. I terminated my plan. Again, that's what I personally chose to do. And I also have some shares in the brokerage. So again, everyone's got to make their own decision. That's really what I think it boils down to at the end of the day. And yeah, wow. 3 hour stream, guys. Holy cannoli. I just didn't even feel tired at all. I mean, really till the end here, I didn't feel burnt out. But appreciate you guys so much. Like, we're just having such a good time here lately. So yeah, meeting so many happy people along the way. Appreciate you that are repeat watchers as well. It's truly a fun time when I do the streams. I really genuinely have fun. And even my girlfriend's like, you seem so much happier after you do a live stream. So I love this journey, guys. I love this journey. I love all of you. Hope everyone has a fantastic night. There's no proof that it locates, so you can take more shares. Listen, talk more next time, guys. Definitely got to wrap it up now, but appreciate all of you. Appreciate all of your insights. You know, again, not everyone's going to agree with everything, and that's all right. And if you respectfully agree to disagree and respectfully debate, I think that's a great way to go about things. So, yeah, damn, so many of you guys popping in tonight. I appreciate you all. Have a fantastic night, everyone. Take care.